Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We are your hosts. I am Joe.
And I'm Randy.
This is episode 102 of our show, and the date is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. What's up?
Not much, man. Just started what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking here. What is it when they try to... Oh, the indoctrination time at work today. So, that was sweet.
Diversity and inclusion training.
DIE. Yep.
Right. It should be D.
Yeah,
DIE.
That's
not
correct. Yes.
DEI, like they want to say. They got it wrong.
Yeah. We had one more, but I shall not say in case someone can identify this place that I work, and then I would laugh because I make fun of them. not the person identifying my workplace, but it shall remain nameless, and that's all right.
Well, we didn't.
Game's here, dude. We got to go on. A lot of folks in. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Nice.
I didn't get any gaming in over the past week. Did you?
I did. I played Wednesday at Greg's game, his 5e variant, Wrath of the Righteous. I won. I thought
that was going away. I thought
he's doing that. He's not able to play on the Thursday game that you're playing in this week. The OSE game that I'm running, he can't play. But I brought my cleric, and we only had 3 people, and basically I dominated once again. I'm practically unstoppable. What is that?
From Ryan. Would this be the same Ryan over at Nerdcognito, Ryan? Hello, just boosted you some sats on the last EP, Fountain Rocks. Must be, because I after appearing on his show and on that episode, my voice appeared, or whatever you would call that, emanated from his show. I recommended Fountain because it has some Bitcoin tied to it. It's called sats. If you know what Bitcoin is, you know what sats are. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah. Since you were on that show, I've been listening. If that's Ryan, I like your all show. I've added it to my rotation. Looks like Arn Man, interesting. You got a game in. Second time running the AD&D game ever. That's only the second time, Arn Man. I figured as seasoned as you are, you would run AD&D a lot more. No, I think he meant the second session.
That would be.
Ryan may not be that guy. Who's that?
May not be. It's the same. The other guy's name is Ryan as well.
Well, there's a Ryan, and yeah.
Right. That is Nerdcognito.
Hey, Shadow and Sun, what's up? Him and Omanal, I think, are in and out. Omanal's got to go do some stuff, but yeah. So,
I am not sure what number, though. Maybe he heard me recommend Fountain. Either maybe here or there. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Because his name is Ryan, and the host on Nerdcognito's name is also Ryan. Okay.
Gotcha. Oh, Arnman did say it's his second time since 35 years ago. AD&D, rock on. Hey, phone guy,
DVR. Hopefully, more you guys. Oh, Silent Shoo is here as well. Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Represent DVR.
All right. And trolling. I don't know. Is that a DVR person too?
Probably.
If not, welcome anyway.
They're professional trolls.
Good. It's good to be professional. Yeah. So we played, and we ended up. My cleric's temple in this city we had gone into there had been an apocalyptic event to start, demons and dragons fighting, cats and dogs living together, and we got we fell into a massive gap in the earth, which you think would kill first level characters, but the dragon cast a feather fall, the silver dragon cast a feather fall as she went up and fought this demon lord, and we saw nothing but black, woke up underneath sort of in the underdark. We finally worked our way out, and the city was in rubble. We went to my temple, the Temple of Serenray. It was totally
Yep.
ruined. Got sucked in by a succubus, sucker play, and
No way. Succubus sucked.
we kicked the. I literally criticaled on my guiding bolt spell, which is the second time I've done that in the mere 3 levels we played, and it was awesome. 56 damage, domination.
You did 56 damage as a first level character.
Yeah, no, 3rd level character.
Oh, third. Well,
Which there you go. That's the difference. See, and the succubus kicked our butt.
Well, sure.
But we did stop her. She was charming the crap out of all of us, but then she ended up flying away. We didn't beat her, though. Well, we defeated. We did not kill her. She escaped. Of course, back in the old school days, a 3rd level party facing off a succubus would be dog meat.
Oh, yeah. You would have just been succumbed to her charms without her really having to do anything. And she would have just led you all down into the 9 hells.
Right. But it was good. It was a good time. Had to get back to school this week, so that wasn't exciting. You had to get back to work this week, but do what we got to do.
Yep. I did not play. I was busy as a beaver on the Emporium, putting out fires. I got another one to deal with. It is it's still a small concern, so there are issues I got to work out. I think I really need to move it over to a dedicated server because we continue to have issues that I think are related to it being on a shared server. And one of those issues is I can't easily have this web professionals who friend of a friend said, hey, we'll help you out. We'll worry about money later. We'll talk about it, maybe get a little now, and then worry about the rest later. And I said, okay, well, let's see how this is going to work out. And then we had tried to get him logged in on an account where he can just mess with the code.
Gotcha.
And because it's a shared server, it's kind of impossible on this particular hosting service to do that easily. So if we had a dedicated server, it would be it wouldn't be a thing. It would be no problem at all. Plus, we're having some issues with large files. And they're not large in the grand scheme of things, but for PDFs, some PDFs they are kind of big, and we're having some upload and download issues. And I think that's also related to it being on a shared server. So
gotcha.
We will probably have to move over sooner than I would like. But otherwise, it's going really well.
Okay, cool.
A lot of people are very supportive of people who have had issues. What was that you just did? Looked like you swiped it.
Something was floating in the air, and I was trying to grab it. So,
okay.
Random cat hair.
Oh,
I don't know how. There's literally not a cat in this room. My floor is not covered in cat hair, but I saw a little piece just floating. I was wondering if anybody would say anything because I went just randomly. Ooh,
yeah.
This is
maybe some dementia setting in.
Okay. Not too far away from that.
Or you're practicing your kata. Anyway, we're getting a lot of support out there for folks. He wants to watch somebody else.
Yeah.
Shut up about the Emporium already.
Out of this Emporium, dude.
All the folks, practically all the folks who have had issues have all been, don't worry about it. I just want you guys to succeed. Get me the file when you can, blah, 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 blah. So it's really been great.
Yeah.
One kind of not happy customer because the site didn't do precisely the thing that he wanted done. Not that I'm not sure that it's something that's common anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, enough about all that.
Yeah.
I believe that folks came here to get our take.
Yes, they did. Because everybody else was taking it.
The one system to rule them all, and in the wokeness bind them. One D&D.
One D&D.
Whose initial marketing scheme was not unlike 5th edition's initial, where it came out as D&D Next, or was it D&D Next, or was it D&D Next? D&D Next.
D&D Next, yeah.
And I was like, well, that's not going to stay D&D Next because that doesn't sound very good.
Yeah.
I think eventually we were all, they're just going to call it 5th edition.
Yeah.
Even though they had the same kind of language, it's just going to stay D&D, and it's never going to really change. We'll make slight improvements and blah, blah, blah. And, for a few years, there was hardly any activity outside of the 3 main books, right? For at least a couple of years, early on. But once they opened the door to books, they just started rolling out. So it really didn't. Their production paradigm really hasn't changed.
I would say it's much slower than any edition I've seen in a while. Though, to be fair, I ignored 4. 3 was crazy. 3 was a behemoth. 2 was a behemoth. 1 really didn't seem like a behemoth. Not to me. First edition didn't. I mean, I couldn't get enough books. Second edition had the kid books. But that's okay. The thing about 1D&D is, and I haven't done all my due diligence fully. I listened to their initial little YouTube thing with the crazy lady. I'm about a third of the way through Legion's 1D&D review. Basic Expert has one I want to watch. Dungeon Masterpiece, I've listened to his. That's very interesting. He has a take on the problem with their VTT. I may get to that. I just think Ryan.
Ryan says, I got enough systems. I don't play. I don't need another one. Right. If they would just, they could have as Nerd Cognito puts it, the Sparkle Troll version, setting wise, easily. You could do their whole, coat of paint that they're giving the D&D, the D20 system, its own thing. You don't need new rules for that.
Well, and I know they put out a few rules, and I watched there's a guy named Bob the Builder. It's not my favorite guy, and I've done some. Last week, watched Bob the Builder, and then I watched Dungeon Craft, Professor DM. But the only things that I saw that were interesting is they made some changes on the race. The orc is going to be a core race. That means if the play test goes through, which I don't think it's a play test. I really think it's something. I think it's just here's the rules. And what's weird?
I think, it could be that they're going to show rules, take public comment, and pretty much not change a lot. It could be that. It also could be they're fishing, right? That's what I was wondering at the last time. I mean, it's a 2-year open play test, and they say this is your game. You can influence it. They said that with 5th edition too. So I'm not sure how much public comment was incorporated into 5th edition because I don't play it. So I don't really know, and I didn't really study it enough to really be able to make a comparison. So,
well, I mean, I don't know the rules that well, and it all sounds fine and dandy. I guess if you're a 5e person, the rule changes may be fine. I don't know. Except one thing
monsters can't crit.
That's weird to me. I don't even know why you would do that. I mean, I'm saying if you're a 5e fan, maybe it's okay. But the monsters can't crit is stupid. I think the humans can be medium or small. I mean, Max must love this because they're going all in on the everything homogeneity. You're a blah now.
Okay. Humans can be small, right? In real life, humans, there are miniature versions of humans, right? The little people, they like to call themselves to be called, and but they're not. I mean, we like to depict them in movies being capable, and in real life, for what we do in the real world, they're fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine as long as sometimes there's health issues and whatnot. But in a fantasy game, you give a little guy a sword, mm-hmm. and he's okay against a kid. Small teenager maybe, but a full-grown dude in armor, no.
But now you can play a 2.5 foot. What do they go by? A small person.
I didn't know about their name. I heard about the small part.
Yeah, Armin makes a good point. He says there will be only player character classes, no monsters. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Oh wow, Legion says even the 5e shills are pissed off. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, because of the half race thing. So you can
right.
you can basically select 2 races, and one give you one bit of stuff and the other give you another bit of stuff, and that's problematic. It's probably has to do with whiteness and colonialism and white supremacy, so we can't have that. I think it's stupid. But
Mark Hawkman, I don't disagree. There are tribes in Malaysia whose average height is less than 5 feet. Fair
sure.
enough, but I don't. I just.
But
you can do the same thing with a halfling. A halfling can be medium size. It's dumb.
Yeah. So when they say small, they mean like 2 to 3 feet tall.
2 to 4 feet tall. So you could be a 2.5 foot. I mean, I guess you can, but whatever. Well, I don't know, dude. Mars says, grown adults in that tribe, they're short, but not maybe not weaklings, but dude.
Okay. Yeah. It depends on what you're talking about. So 5 foot tall, 3 foot tall.
Big difference.
Big difference. So if we're talking 5 foot, like 4.5 to 5 foot tall, fine. But if we're talking 2 to 3 feet tall, nah.
Well, notice Malky says there's no 7 foot tall. There are no 7 foot tall dwarves now, so that's a good thing. I don't know. There's no or there's going to be. I think there might going to be. I don't know all the deals on that. Long story short, I mean, it was an arrogant statement. They come off as arrogant. This sounds like a 4E pitch. 4E was a big blast. I think that not only that first, yeah.
I mean, they sneak up on you in droves and all have like their, I don't know, this might be a stereotype, but they have their little blow guns with poison needles. Yeah, that's one thing.
Wow. Okay. But in the end, look, do what you want. They think they're going to have the one D&D to rule them all, and I think they might. Now, the real question is, will this keep the? This will probably gather. This sounds like a good move to gather the fringe fans, your critical role people, and your kind of I want to buy coffee mugs people. I wonder if it'll be a real gamer keeper. I mean, if their VTT is as cool as it looks, that might keep regular gamers too.
Dude, lots of people who play games are lemmings.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it says Dungeons and Dragons on it, they'll buy it. They'll play it.
Right.
And they'll give all the allowances because most people just want to play. Right? There's just a few of us that have a real visceral reaction to things like this. Many gamers don't. Mm-hmm. You know how we were back in the 90s?
Yeah.
3rd edition, okay, let's play, or whatever year it was.
Yep.
And when 4th edition was rolling around, we were considering it. But that's when we started being a little more discerning.
Yes.
And listening to what they were saying, and we're like, I don't know if I like this. But we were getting that at the end of 3rd edition as well. We were getting tired of the churn, the book churn, the throwing spaghetti at the wall kind of mentality they had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, I don't know what. Go ahead.
Omanal said this earlier, Joe. I'm interested to know your opinion. He had some comments. It will shatter the base. He's expecting a split. And then Cigar DM follows up with this statement. The shop he works at it's saying no to the play testing. That's interesting to me, but both of them. Will this be more of a schism like 4th edition, or will it be more of a
smooth? Yeah, that's true.
Will it be smooth like 3 to 3-5, which I know it wasn't totally smooth, but it kind of was.
This could be more akin to the 4th edition schism, because that was a real one. Mm-hmm. That one nearly tanked the D&D brand. I don't know all the things that happened behind the scenes during 4th edition and just after its heyday that kind of that knocked Pathfinder back down out of the top spot that it had.
Scalazar Mar, he is a new friend of mine on Facebook. He resembles that little people remark. That's all right, though, dude. Happy anniversary, though, if I remember correctly. I believe he's had an anniversary recently. But he's made some cool comments in the OSR group. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. That was Randy's least favorite.
Oh, Oh, Baron. That's some poop.
Book of Nine Swords,
Nine
worst
Swords?
book of 3.5 according to Baron G. Rock.
That was the book of nearly 4th edition. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Violence, look what he's saying. Violence solves everything. Welcome. It will depend on if there is something like Paizo showing up to keep old 5e. That's interesting if that'll happen. I don't know about that.
Well, if we had some savvy people, I mean, we have, okay, so I made a comment on Twitter. Oh, by the way, Biggest Geekus got banned from Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Over the weekend, I think it was Sunday, when I saw it, Saturday night or Sunday sometime, I can't remember exactly. The Biggest Geekus branded Twitter account got banned because on one of Eric July's Twitter threads, somebody said something retarded, and I commented about that retardation, and I used the word tard, and got kicked off of Twitter. Well, they said I could delete the tweet and the 12-hour clock would start. So instead, I made a new Twitter account for Big Geek Emporium and said, "Screw that! I'm not going to delete a mild comment," is what I've been calling it.
They don't know my boy Joe here. He doesn't respond well to commands.
Yeah, I do what I want.
Yes, screw you.
And so far, the Big Geek Emporium Twitter account is up to 63 followers since Sunday. It's not a lot, but it's possible that the little over 500 that the Biggest Geekus account, maybe some of that. We got a big boost when Elon Musk was supposed to buy Twitter, and something happened, and a lot of Twitter accounts kind of blew up a little bit. Ours got about 100 subs, so maybe some of that was bots and stuff. Who knows?
A couple of people here made a good comment. I wanted to find the one. I wonder if this is going to be true. Arnman says only people with nice computers can play the neat all-inclusive D&D. Do they want it to be completely online? Do they want you to do all
Yeah,
that?
they have the big digital thing going on, and I mean, yeah, how computer intensive is this this tech side of the game going to be? The graphics that they showed were okay. I'm not sure. It might be that you need a decent computer, and if that's the case, maybe they're trying to drive the computer market a little bit.
But a lot of guys,
the chip shortage right now is going to put a hamper on that. I know it's 2 years down the road, so maybe the chip shortage will have been alleviated by then. Who knows?
It's funny. As much as I find this annoying, this is not. There's no way I'm coming in. Oh, Charles, do it. No, you do it.
Charles Bartholomew Mortimer Norris III says, "I have a half-orc paladin named Ratard, RA-Tard, for those who are listening." And then he follows that up with saying, "He's pretty awesome."
Oh, here's one I've heard folks talk about this. Welcome back, Flady1. It'll make it easier to ban people once it all goes digital. That's been some. Now that's a little bit of a. I'm not saying you're this, but that's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, which we all know is mostly just true.
Predictions
these days, but they may do that. You don't use the correct pronouns, you're banned.
Powderpuff Nerd says, "I have a half-orc fighter named Lavender. She likes to feel pretty and will smash you if you hurt her feelings."
I can confirm that.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody's talking. They think you have a good computer. Oh, yeah. Matt Barniger, he's right. You have to have a good computer.
Yeah, I didn't see any specs. I didn't know if they had any specs, but I saw the video. They said they're keeping the models small on screen, so it'll still seem like a tabletop. Why don't you just encourage tabletop?
Yeah. This is the thing Patrick Demo says. I'm pretty sure they're just using this as their D&D social media, further cementing their thinly veiled plan to make D&D a lifestyle brand. Yeah, I don't think it's that veiled anymore. And I have called D&D years ago a lifestyle hobby. I think it is for me. It's part of what I do. It's a big part of my lifestyle. But I'm not interested in having all the doodads just for doodad's sakes. I do like I talked about my little hand of Vecna, but I don't want like a coffee cup all the time and this and that. But it's okay. I think I'm out already, even though I played 5e and will play 5e. I'm out.
What's this coffee cup reference you're talking about?
Oh, just the D&D lifestyle, and have a T-shirt and talk about, clerics heal better, or some cool little pithy saying, and they want a lifestyle brand. So D&D is more than just a game. It's kitsch. There you go. Patrick says it was apparent since the D and kitsch explosion since a few years back, and it's not like they didn't do it before though. During second edition, they had the whole, what was it? Yarn. What do you do when what's it called when you use yarn and you make stuff?
Do stuff with yarn?
Yeah, there's a name for knitting.
Knitting
Stuff. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Baron G Rock says, I have a female ranger named Lama Lakes. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Lama Lakes. Is that some sort? I don't.
Maybe Land O'Lakes.
Sorry.
Iron Man. Ironic that they want total inclusion, but too bad for poor kids without the good computer.
Yeah. There's that. Well, they say inclusion, but they don't really mean it.
Thank
when
you,
anyone crochet. There's the other one.
Yeah.
Crochet. They only mean inclusion from the point of view of either a group that they are concerned about that they don't belong to,
right,
or they are talking about themselves. They
Correct.
don't really mean everybody.
No.
It's always we're inclusive. We're totally inclusive. I'm a straight white dude, not you. You go to the back, maybe leave the building. So they don't really mean everybody.
Yeah.
When we talk about equal, some people are more equal than others to them.
Maybe this, Charles Bartholomew Mortimer Norris, submission, not tolerance. Agreed.
Yeah. So the good thing is none of our physical books or PDFs that are not connected to their system, even current systems, like what's the DM's Guild?
Yes.
They still function just fine. Our dice work, our mouths move. So all the things that we need to enjoy our hobby will not be hampered by this development. We all knew it was coming, right?
Yeah.
Because didn't know precisely when, but I know me and Randy and I we've been kind of musing. When are they going to go with the new version? Because one, it's about the right amount of years, and two, they're kind of flailing right now, creatively, and it's pretty apparent. I mean, to us, we're outsiders. I think folks that they are flailing to, the demographic they're kind of creating to, they probably don't look at it that way, but I think a lot of us think this way. I call it flailing.
Yeah.
They're just trying different things,
throwing stuff and see what sticks.
And it's not very good.
Yeah. Scalazar Moore says, I can see the biggest Geekus Twitter feed. Oh.
Yeah, it's not taken down.
Oh.
I just can't do anything. I cannot post. So maybe ban isn't the right word. I just cannot post. I think I can DM people.
Weird Gap 564 says, until they bring back Larry Elmore Bikini Babes, D&D is dead to me.
I think you can get plenty of that on the internet.
I remember at Gen Con, dude, Larry Elmore back in the day, he always had a booth babe. Yeah, always.
Yes, Flady one. So this is the weekly time slot for this show. Yes sir. Just want to make sure I keep the time slot open. Thank you very much. That's very awesome. That's very flattering.
Great group tonight, man.
Flady flattering. Yes, we're almost at 30. That's like 10 more than our average. That's awesome.
I think Violence has some good suggestion. Violence solves everything. Joe, your account is frozen until you bend the knee, which means it's going to stay frozen.
Yeah, I don't bend the knee.
No. All right. Cool. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I got to watch more. I may comment more later, but I think it just looks like, oh, weird guy. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, Joe. Right?
Eastern. Yeah, I just say Eastern because it flips back and forth. Is there a way that we can advertise our start time better for you guys that you know of better than I do about YouTube? Because I do usually the day before, like I think I did it this morning though.
I do. Yeah, I do Facebook. You did this morning. I think I don't know if they have an idea.
But if there is something I can put up on our YouTube space that it's probably obvious and I'm not thinking of it, where I can just put 7:30 Eastern every Tuesday, something like that. And as soon as I can get to that, I will do that. That way you can just go to it'll just be there. So sorry for being an old dude and not thinking about that.
You know, I'm feeling slow today.
You're feeling slow?
Yeah, I mean physically, I feel like I'm slow.
Like a little tired?
Yeah. I'll get
take a deep breath and take a deep breath and quit it.
Yeah.
Quit being slow. Scalazar Moore says flailing is a kind word. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too kind. Maybe I should be more spicy. Is this spicy enough for people? should we be using colorful language? That's not me.
I know what we should do to spice it up. Why don't we tell them to do something really cool, like hit the likes? Phone guy warned us. Hit the like, man. Yeah. Subscribes, dude.
Let me get over to that space.
Joe's about to show some sweetness. Yeah. You know it.
Like, subscribe, share, comment, tell your friends. Make sure that you go to their house, tie them to a chair next to their computer, and open their computer up to our show.
Yep.
And then make them watch it. All they have to do is watch it just a couple of minutes. Our presence and charisma will do the rest. Then you can just untie them and leave them.
Powderpuff Nerd, don't forget to smash that like button like it was a mimic who ate your halfling thief. Truth.
I like to say jihad. Mm-hmm. Jihad the like button.
Yeah.
But yes, like it was a halfling thief.
Cool.
Yes, do all those things. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends.
Cool. So yeah, 1D&D is going to be complete. I think it's just going to be more garbagey, 5e, mixture, dumb crap. Not interested. And they're trying to make it all. I think their dream is to make it pay to play and buy all the little doodads on your character. And they've already said that's what you can do. Buy new skins. How cool.
Yeah, it's really lame, actually. And then calling it's your game. Well, do I have to buy it? Then it's not my game until I buy it, and then I can do whatever I want to with it.
Yeah, and you can make a statement that you buy them every time you get a new edition. Yeah, but once I buy it, it's mine. It's literally mine.
See you later, cigar.
Amazon Pathfinder game.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Get to it, dude. All right.
Yeah, so I really don't know. I really don't like that whole it's your game thing.
Why?
Kinda, that's what they said in the in their marketing video.
Right. Oh, you don't like it?
Your game.
Yeah.
And clearly it's not, because it has Hasbro's name on it and Wizards of the Coast name on it. Yeah. So it's not the fans' game.
They're EA Sports say that. I think EA Sports said that. Patrick's saying, "Congratulations, Watsy, you are now EA." Is that in regards to that statement? It's your game. I think it is.
Maybe. I just I think it's kind of, I don't know, commie. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little sensitive.
Well,
but
the one, Yeah, I don't know. And the guy, Dungeon Masterpiece, I would encourage everybody to listen to Dungeon Masterpiece. I wish I put the link in there. Joe probably could. It's a YouTube channel. He's got a good one where he takes the tack. I don't think he's against 5e. In fact, I think he likes it. It's not his favorite, but he likes it. It's kind of like me.
Yes, Patrick. It's not your game if they take control of your creations. Yes, indeed.
His claim from his video, and I don't want to talk too much into it, but you should watch it. He claims that he thinks it's going to change the hobby, the way people, being the king of games, that video stuff, that component, that sweet VTT could put a real damper on other companies. If a player grows up 10-year-old to 15, plays the sweet VTT action, and basically it's a video game, how do you get away from that? When he goes, someone says, hey, you want to play Rifts from Palladium? Where's the sweet online component? Where's my character skins? Where's this? Where's that? I guess, but I mean, the younger generations, younger than me, even just one generation, is more comfortable with online play and video games. And I think they still we got friends in our group that are a generation or two behind us, and they still like to play face to face. We got a real young dude, a couple young guys that are under 21. So they like to play regular tabletop.
Right. So yeah, Darth puts up here, they have to move to the micro transaction model, which is exactly what this seems like.
Yeah.
They have not made anything actually worth buying in a few years now. Yeah. Other than that's an issue.
Yeah.
Because they have shareholders, right? Wizards of the Coast, I think, is publicly traded, or Hasbro is for sure. I'm not sure if Wizards
Wizards is part of their deal, so whether they're publicly traded or not, I would think Hasbro could do
right.
Stuff.
So either indirectly or directly, they have to appeal to some set of shareholders.
Scalazar, I'm not sure of this. Scalazar Moore asks, will there be a subscription model that provides updates and adventures? There will be adventures, and where you can purchase all the cool components and splash down your Temple of Elemental Evil, apparently be able to move little modules out. This is something they talked about, Joe, back at the beginning of 3rd edition and Neverwinter Nights.
They've wanted electronic stuff like this for the longest.
For a long time, but I think it's going to be very, Armand says, at Scalazar, the update will require you to replay the prior dungeon level. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, it being an electronic thing, if your gameplay is tied to the screen, all bets are off. It's, you know what? How much will Aaron Wilkerson? How much will this hurt the local game stores?
A bunch.
It may.
I think it will.
I mean that's
you're only selling.
Go ahead.
I don't know. It seems like to me, they said they're going to have physical books, but if you buy it from WotC, you get the extra online widget stuff too, in a cheaper package. That's their plan. So they're going to undercut everybody. I mean, they are, and so, or at least that's the premise. So, it sounds like to me, it's going to be a kick in the nuts to the local game store. I think it is.
It could.
It's going to be cheaper to buy from them, I think.
Well, the thing is, though, any kind of innovation, whether this qualifies as an innovation or not, any kind of innovation in the tech space has the possibility of removing something in meat space in the real world. So any kind of electronic version, anything that we do gaming wise, that becomes predominantly electronic. Even the proliferation of game PDFs, right? Mm-hmm. You could say that undercuts local game stores too, because there's no book sales there. And if everybody starts just buying PDFs and playing with their PDFs instead of buying books, what's going to happen to the local game store who doesn't carry that stuff?
This is a little more severe than that, though.
Can be, sure.
Well, because you can buy the physical books. Here's what they're saying: you can buy the physical books, and at least maybe Professor Dungeon Master said this, because if they offer a package deal, a bundle, they're talking about bundles, I think, already. You get the physical books, you get the online stuff, all that crap at once. Why would you go to the hobby store and buy just the physical books? I mean, you can get all the extra crap too.
Yeah, if that's what you want. It all depends on what kind of deal they give the hobby store. So if it's the same price,
when we know Watsy,
yeah,
they like that part.
Yeah, they're not great at stuff like that.
Mm-mm.
And at the Emporium, I had somebody contact me last night, with some kind of take on this. They were trying to see if we had a licensing deal for retail stores.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, what? what precisely can I do in that regard? Because none of these IPs that are coming through the Emporium belong to the Emporium. We're more of a clearinghouse for them. None of it belongs to us. Right?
Scalazar makes a good point. He is talking to someone else, DM Kurt, who concurred with me. They already sell through Amazon at prices lower than the FLGS would. That's true.
The local gaming stores have to offer more than just books. And a lot of them do. They offer play space and other stuff that that you can buy there. Maybe they have food and snacks you can buy there. So while you're gaming, so for folks who are more comfortable or for some reason can get more play at the game store, that's the thing that they're going to have to be innovative about.
So will stores have to have computers? Because Aaron Wilkerson says this, with the digital maps models, the FLGS store won't be able to sell as many of those either. Every store I know that has a wall of D&D minis. And what if you're someone like Joe? I don't want to clutter of stuff in my house, so I'm not buying maps and minis and stuff. And no, you don't have to, Joe. You can buy it online. You can get all this stuff that's never going to clutter up anything. Now, granted, whenever we upgrade, if you don't upgrade, you're going to lose access to all of it. But that's okay.
Correct. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not I hope it does not create a paradigm shift.
I think it is.
In gaming as a whole, because really, like what I was saying earlier is still true. All of your books work. I don't think printed books outside of Wizards of the Coast are going away. Lots of people play games other than D&D. I'm more of the opinion, since you brought up 4th edition, that this could end up being a schism like that. And if that is what happens,
that's probably good, actually.
It would be a good thing. So it would shrink the D&D base to those who want to participate in dungeons and coffee mugs. If you want to play your D&D character is a barista at a coffee store, and that's the kind of play that D&D supports because monsters don't crit and all this other stuff. Who knows? I think that is probably our best bet. But I guess because D&D kind of drives the hobby still, which is unfortunate that it does.
I think sorry.
And because it does, and it's kind of undeniable. Has too big of a brand recognition, too big of a user base, that many users in the hobby follow that around. It drives the hobby to some degree. We can be holdouts and outliers and do our own thing, and that's what we should do.
Which we become. But the thing is interesting, though. The guy, and a Dungeon Masterpiece, Professor DM, and a lot of the others, I think, like even Legion's statement here, he says, your cleric's only good until level 4. To gain access to level 5 through 9, you need to purchase those levels for $4.99. And Patrick makes the comment, Demo, correction, you can lose access to all your shit on a whim, get banned, lose all your D&D stuff. These are people prognosticating, looking into the, no pun intended, crystal ball, who are pretty smart folks. And we're seeing, holy crap, this could be a thing. This could happen. Right. So I think I'm with Craig.
We got banned on Twitter.
You got banned on Twitter, yep.
So the same kind of thing could happen. What if somebody says tard during a game session?
Yep.
And your computer detects it and says, oh, we're going to shut this game down.
But hey guys, the good news is this. I mean, I like D&D 5e. I'll play it. I don't think it's good enough. It's not my preferred game, but I have it on my shelf and I'll play it. But this I'm not going to do. And so what? I'm off the Paizo wagon. I'm off the WotC wagon. Whatever. Do what you want. In the end, they're not. And this computer push electronic thing is really not marketing to me. And you and I both know it. Joe talks about it all the time. I'm really just a pretty face on here. So
Yeah, I say that all the time.
no, you do.
I say that all the time.
Well, you just say that I got no tech savvy, and I don't. I mean, I can save a file, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yes, there were. I think this was, if anything, this is, since we don't really play 5th edition, we're kind of outside of Wizards' target demo. We can just point and laugh and say, "What is this nonsense that they're doing?" And we're going to seem like Luddites on some level, but everybody who's following them, following the Wizards of the Coast and saying, "Yeah, we'll just play whatever they have," that's lemmings to us.
Yeah. I agree with you, Darth. One must always look at the worst before making the choice. Just looking at the good side will lie to you. But I think everyone on here, and you have varying, people are very faithful of 5e, like it or not. I think several folks think the core of it's good, and then a lot hate it. But the thing is, we all love D&D here. And so even though we can laugh at it, a part of me, and Play D1 said it a while back, it does hurt a little bit. I mean, I hate to see, I'm sorry, I know it's not really the game that I love, I get it, but the game that I love, Dungeons and Dragons, gosh, I hate it. I hate it pulling away from me, which is, it left me a while ago, to be honest. So
I think that if you can do it, you just say, well, that's not really D&D. It has a nameplate on it, but I could easily steal somebody's nameplate, and it's not my name, stick it on there and say, this is me. And that's how I look at the game now. Yeah. That's not really D&D. We played D&D.
Yes.
Right? This isn't that. This is something else. This new one D&D is going to be even one more step farther away.
Yeah.
And you don't have to play D&D.
No.
D&D isn't the only game.
Right.
But it's just, it's a little sad that it's going down this route. It's still, after all this time.
I think Legion of Myths got a comment here. I'm not sure I follow this. The 5 phases of group dynamics, the last phase, journeying, is relevant here. Yeah, Max, you might have to go into an explanation of that. I don't know. Joe might know what that is.
I don't.
Group dynamics. Are you talking about people who like D&D being the group? I don't know. That's interesting. Max may have.
Well, right. So I think what he's talking about, when people get together and form a group, certain dynamics form over time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think is what he's saying. And it goes in phases. And this phase, the last phase, according to him, is journeying.
Perhaps we're leaving. That could be it.
Right.
But Patrick kind of says it in a way that I feel. It was my first RPG, being D&D. My first hobby I really threw myself into. It's been my lifelong hobby. It still hurts seeing it go like this. Yeah, I have to admit it still does. It's not free, and I'm not like, I'll see you later. And you're right. We got Mud Sword on the horizon. Joe's got Big Geek Emporium. Biggest Geekus is rolling along. Really happy doing stuff. We're playing games. I'm playing every week. Joe is playing every other week, to my knowledge. Everybody else in my group's playing. We got Cabin Con. We're hopefully going to have a convention. We got it all going. It's great. But it is a shame that probably the Dungeons and Dragons itself is not the newest one is not going to be there. But that's okay, I guess.
Legion of Myth explains, the journeying phase is when you act out against each other to make the upcoming separation easier to handle.
Oh, okay. So we're like fighting the rest of the people in the hobby that we disagree with because we're about to split from them. Yeah.
Adjourning? It could be adjourning and not journeying. Anyway, I think what he's talking about is, in essence, that a separation, groups don't stay together all the time forever.
Right.
So on the eve of the inevitable, they act out. So I don't know if that's what this is. Yeah. I think I think it's possible. I don't know.
It's weird that I have this kind of sappy, sappy is a word I have used, feeling of missing this game that I love, which I don't miss it. I got 40,000 copies of it. But let's say I do. I still have it. It's there. It's my feelings, Joe, and you need to what's the word? Not confirm it. What do they say? Not verify. What's the word they're using all the time? Acknowledge my feelings. Anyway, but the point is, even though that's the case, on the same side, I look and go, screw it. we got better. We played better games anyway.
Yeah. So you look back, there's some nostalgia, and what's going on now kind of wars with that nostalgia in a way.
Thank you, Green Apple. That was the word. Validate my feelings. Joe says, let me call the wambulance for you, Randy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Validate your parking. That's about it.
Ah, okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit. It doesn't care. Yeah, it's a war. It's a bit of an internal conflict.
Yeah.
You want to not care because they don't really deserve. We don't think they deserve our
Thanks for the
participation.
Therapy, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for the therapy.
It's an intervention.
Max made a comment on that. I got to finish Legion's take on it because he and Heathen Dog were knocking some stuff out of the park. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of puts nails in the coffin.
I think so too. I think we're out. We're out.
There's no that. I'm going to look and laugh, and if there's some little bit that we can say, oh, that's not such a bad idea,
right.
Maybe we can use it. But at this point, I think that's probably not going to happen. So yeah, one D&D is the new thing from Wizards of the Coast, and happy sailing. We'll see you down on the other side. Hopefully, it does the 4E thing, and perhaps
that's
gives
secretly my hope. I hope it just flops like worse than 4E,
and gives some rise to some group, maybe a group that's on Big Geek Emporium. Maybe they'll rise to the occasion.
Maybe my modules will be big hits.
maybe get that module out, dude.
Dude, I'm making progress. I'm really making progress. It is on a note. That module's humming along, but it's and it's only got sort of 4 little pieces left to write. But when you're writing for other people, dude, it is not simple.
No, you have to write something somewhat different. Yeah. It's not the same thing. Yeah. All right, are we ready to transition? Did you buy your dress?
What's that? Huh?
We're ready to transition, so you need to get your dress.
Oh yeah, sorry. So now I want you all to refer to me as you did before.
Yes. So because we're getting ready to transition, subscribe.
Yes.
Anyone who's listening out there in audio land, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so. If you haven't rated us in some form or fashion out there in the interwebs, we would really appreciate a good review if you feel we deserve one. It would compete with what we need to do is we're going to read some reviews episode, because apparently we have some where people don't like us very much.
Oh,
so,
wow. That's sad. I'm sad about that.
You could be good if you weren't such Trumpers. Someone called us Trumpers.
They did. Yeah. Well, they could say, because I did vote for him one of the 2 times, but most recent one because there was no other choice. But if he runs again, I'm voting for him. Right? But I mean, right now, if we had an election, absolutely 100%. I wouldn't even look at DeSantis.
I understand completely.
I would do it out of sheer anger. And but it doesn't matter. But Joe, get out of here. They don't know anything.
No.
I know my boy Joe here. He is not a Trumper.
It's funny.
Oh no. Transitioning to one biggest geekest. Yes. The one podcast. All come to us.
One biggest geekest.
Oh, our man's got a better one. Let's call it One Randy. Yes, I like that.
Okay, our man. We have to talk.
Serious discussion now.
Serious discussion.
Okay. Let's transition.
All right. So
D&D.
Yes, we're going to start talking now about golems. We're going to we have already started to have episode topics where we talk about the monsters.
Yes. A monster mash.
Monster mash.
Yeah, this is number 4, golems and constructs.
Yeah. So Golems have been in the game since the very beginning.
Yep.
I don't know, were they in chainmail?
Golems, I don't know about chainmail.
But they were in the Greyhawk Supplement, according to you here.
And our discussion tonight is going to be golems and constructs. So we're going to focus a lot on the golems, but other constructs as well. There was none. The only thing that was there was none in Monsters and Treasures. So the white box did not have golems. That's true. But their supplement of Greyhawk added flesh, stone, and iron golems. OSE does have a living statue, but we'll get to that in a minute. But the original D&D, when you played the first 3 booklets, you did not have golems. But that quickly was remedied.
Yes. Trigger warning. According to Malachi, or Malachi, or
Malachi, come on.
Malachi.
He's part of the tribe, man.
Oh, yeah. All right. I just walked into some anti-Semitism. Lol.
Yeah.
Yes, trigger warning for those who have their sensitivity knobs turned to 11. Apparently, some folks think that talk of golems is insensitive to the Jewish folk. I will have to say that's silly.
Wait till we get to its actual etymology.
Mainly because Jews talk about them.
Yes, they do.
And so it's their folklore, so it's not anti-Semitic. Now, you might be able to say, although I don't believe this, you might be able to say it's cultural appropriation.
Whatever.
But
you might
that's
say
it.
A topic we're talking about.
Yeah, we are talking about golems, so you can level whatever istophobism type stuff at us, whatever.
Malachi has cleared. I've been saying his name wrong. Malachi. Oh, Malachi Martin. Where do I know that name from? Is that the Exorcist?
Like Father Malachi Martin.
Is that the Exorcist dude? I think so. Hey, Max Boivin's in the house.
Hey.
Darth says, this is convenient. I'm getting ready. Oh, okay. Oh, Mr. Max Boivin, oy vey. Sweet. This is convenient, Darth says. I'm getting ready to have my party of 5 5th level PCs fight a Golem Guardian to escape the dungeon. Suggestion, don't let them win. Golems should always win.
Well, they're only 5th level.
Well, good. Excellent.
Good luck.
Well played, Darth. Well played.
I mean, even Stone Guardians, are Stone Guardians considered constructs?
Well, that's interesting. So BECMI and Rule Cyclopedia brought in several unique ones. In fact, they don't have I call them the big 4, which we haven't gotten to that yet. So the white box did not have any of them. Greyhawk brought in 3.
The 3.
Flesh, stone, and iron. They did not have the clay golem yet. BECMI and Rule Cyclopedia had wood, bone, obsidian, amber, and I don't think any others. We're playing a BX variant, OSE, everybody knows about that. They have them all as well as living statues, crystal statues, rock statues, and iron statues. So those are all variants of D&D. But so technically the 1E monster manual was the first time we got what most people would call the big 4. Flesh, clay, iron, and stone. Yeah.
Right.
But go ahead.
The Stone Guardian is different than a stone golem.
I think we're getting
2 different creatures.
We're getting blissed by some dumb stuff in stream, but I'll keep going.
Oh, come on. I turned on strict.
So
when I was trying to keep Max out.
Yeah, when I talk about the big 4 tonight, guys, I'm talking about flesh, clay, stone, and iron. But there are others. Dragon Magazine, Polyhedron, and Adventure modules added several to the 1E experience. There is a cool Wikipedia, I think it's a Wikipedia or some kind of page where I just Googled monsters from 1E, from 3E, all different versions of D&D is a great list. So if you're just looking for a monster and you're trying to remember where did I see it at, what edition, or if it exists in this edition, go look that up. I really should have probably put that link on there. That's why I did some research. It's really pretty good.
Okay.
Monster
put the band hammer down. Hopefully that took care of it on both ends.
Yeah.
I don't see him in our feed here in StreamYard. Is he still popping up over there in YouTube land?
I don't know. Yeah. Spam Golem. Iron Man says Spam Golem. Yeah. Bruce is giving you a hint there, Joe. Check that out. Bruce says, go into my edit video, turn on subscriber only chat. There you go.
Okay.
But anyway.
Yeah, you keep talking.
Yeah, you have a mod. But anyway, so Monster Manual 2 brought in some of my, and I've been thinking really hard because the objective is, I know it's probably going to be, I love the Modrons, and I don't know why I love them, because Monster Manual 2 brought them in. They're these quirky, little weird, geometric, quasi-construct creatures from Mechanus, the Plane of Law. I think it was called Nirvana back in the day in 1E. Those that love Manual of the Planes could let me know. But the Modrons were brought in. And while they're not truly constructs because they're sentient, they do tend to follow orders. So the lowest, the Modrone, just has a very simple set of instructions. Then the Duodrone, a Tetradrone, I can name several, that's not important. But they're kind of weirdly shaped construct type geometric creatures. I don't know why I like them so much, because really when you look at them, they're kind of goofy looking.
Yeah, they are.
But I always have I got a soft spot for them, and probably because of Max Legion, cover your ears, Planescape. They had this interesting little rogue Modron that was quite funny. He had little quips and stuff in the books somewhere halfway through, and I really liked him. But I would agree if people said, "Oh, Modrons are kind of stupid." I'm like, yeah, they kind of are. But there was a really cool adventure. Oh boy, I think it started at the Great Modron March and then finished in Dead Gods. Oh, yes, I agree, David Guile, 100%. I love most Dieter Lietzi stuff I like anyway, but his renditions of Modrons were quite cool. Malachi, I know there's a Planescape book for 5e next year. I wouldn't pay for that. I can't imagine it's worth a darn. And, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little soured's not the right word, but I've been infected by Legion's comments against Planescape and also Joe. So I'm not as excited, not as hyped about Planescape as I used to be. So Legion and Joe have harshed my buzz, but I did really like them. So, and I still do, but I can get a kind of a hate for them. If you hate them, I get it. And so in second edition is when we got quite the plethora in the official books. Okay, if I keep going, Joe, you still battling the bots?
I am. I did not see that setting Bruce is talking about in the edit.
Well, I'll keep going down the first appearance while you do that. In 2E, you get the big four, and you get greater and lesser variants. So we're talking about, sorry, got to pause. Patrick said, the upcoming 5e Planescape is going to have the Lady of Validation instead of the Lady of Pain. Oh, yeah, probably. And they'll stat her up, and she'll just be a monster with 500 hit points. Yeah, David. Oh, David, he and I are going to have a little conversation here. I used to play Planescape back in the day. Not sure how I'd feel about it if I were to go back and read the books now. Yeah, I really loved it, but now that I realize that it's got a lot of, moral relativism in it, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. But I'm going to play Planescape in 2 weeks. I have a friend coming to visit, and I'm going to run him and his daughter and her husband through a Planescape he asked me to game. So, we'll see. But did you kill him, dude, or they just keep blasting us?
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Anyway, so in 2E, we get the big four,
going.
Greater and lesser forms. We get the Gargoyle Golem, which I enjoyed that. Glass Golem, Necrophidius Golem, which was the Death Worm. Stone Golem variants, all kinds. Caryatid Column, which I used in my Adventure Con. The Juggernaut, which was a massive, just Destructicon BA Stone Golem, Stone Guardian, and then a variety from the Monstrous Compendiums. I mean, just a truckload of golems. In the various Monstrous Compendiums, this is where they start talking more about automatons. Now, as I said, BX had living statues, but here they call them automatons, clockwork horrors, and we finally see one of my favorites. I don't know if Joe can comment on this. I really like this, the Shield Guardian. I thought that was a very neat golem, one that a wizard or cleric or somebody could control with a necklace. That was pretty neat. That's more of like a companion to a wizard, a true companion that will fight for you. Pretty powerful. And then, of course, in second edition, my beloved Planescape gave us the Modrons. The Maruts appeared, though they weren't. They mentioned the word inevitable, but the inevitables didn't really get a full write-up until third edition. And that's when you got the Modrons actually got tamped down. For the longest time, I didn't know during third edition, Joe, if they were even going to produce the Modrons at all. In fact, they came out in a supplement. But the inevitable.
I like to think top dog Modrons, right? From
there were some cool ones.
Like, Primus and
Primus. Well, he's practically a deity. He was the one.
Right. And then like the few layers down there, but when it gets close to like the ones that start taking up geometric shapes, then they start looking silly. Yeah.
Well, they look silly even up to the higher ones. The higher ones, the second disc was tough, but I know, and I want to expand this. Could be a spoiler alert, so probably not inclined to. But the Great Modron March is when the Modrons would walk around the plane of concordant opposition, the Great Wheel, visiting all the gate towns, and they would usually get slaughtered in various ones. Some would not slaughter them. Then in this adventure, there's this creature. Oh, what's his name? Not Terminus. I bet somebody there can tell me. I'm going to give a spoiler away. It was the spirit of Orcus who one of them slew Primus and took over control of Mechanus. And so Tenebris, that was his name. And Tenebris became Orcus again. It was kind of Orcus got assassinated by the Drow goddess of death. He came back, got his plane of the abyss back and all that. So, but yeah. What does Iron Man say? In my gardens and garages game, I will use a weed golem. Okay.
Are we talking wacky weedus, or are we talking more like the stuff we get in our front yard that we have to pull all the time?
Yes, Bruce, that's right. Dead Gods and the Great Modron March. I think they're connected modules. They're both very thick. I have them both. He's right. The actual Dead Gods thing was more about with Tenebris. I think you're right. But I think it was hinted at in the Modron March that something was up. Yeah, something was up with Primus because the Modrons started their march early. So, but
there was, I don't remember the details, but I remember there being a thing going on.
I literally never ran the modules because honestly, we talked about, I don't mind a railroad, but sometimes it was like, well, the players will see this and then they come over and ask this question. I'm like, how do you know if they're going to even come over there? I had players that would totally ignore such a minor thing like that. I forgot what it was. One of the modules had a start like that, which was weird. But in Planescape, but in third edition, you have about 74 types of golems. No kidding. I counted them. 74 types of golems.
Wow.
And,
types.
Yeah, with
not individual.
No, so 45 iron types, and then there was a variety. There was wood golems, and I'm not going to say the one that Patrick mentioned. I'll post it up there. Book of Blue Magic. I'll say it. It beats what was in the Book of Blue Magic, the ejaculate golem. Yeah, that's disgusting. And Monster Manual 1 through 5 and the Fiend Folio from third edition just had a whole boatload of these golems. Like I couldn't tell you how many. Then they brought in the astral constructs. And finally, the inevitables. And the inevitables were literally, I think they had originally planned for them to be a replacement for the Modrons because they were much tougher. They were creatures of law that believed in. Let me do something real quick, Joe. You want to talk some, or you still battling?
I'm not battling, but custom. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Probably
the best picture. The best picture of the inevitables would be the third edition picture, in my opinion. They had the best. Let's see which one. Here we go. That's a really cool picture of the inevitables, and they were taking the in my mind, for the longest time, they replaced the Modrons. Joseph Campagna, because I love inevitables. They're cool too. Like one of them would, a lawful inevitable his job might be to go chase after oath breakers. So they would travel the plains to hunt down oath breakers. They were super lawful, super neutral, and the Wayne Reynolds one. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Probably somebody else. Anyway.
Oh, isn't this a Wayne Reynolds
I wouldn't be shocked.
art? It looks very Wayne Reynoldsy.
Yeah, the big elephant type guy is the caryatid. The smaller guy in the center with the robes. No, the elephant guy is the Marut. The robe guy is the caryatid, and I don't remember the other Zekalus. It's a weird name. I'm trying to.
Only one I remember is Marut.
Yeah, because Marut made an appearance all the way back in first edition, and I think they even mentioned. But the Inevitables were interesting. They were sent out to the planes. They were sentient constructs. They were the Warforged before the Warforged, and they had quite the cool missions. Lawbreakers. They had specific missions like this is an oath breaker. This type comes after him. This is one that's broken a contract, or this is one that's done this. And
that's actually a good one for players.
Huh?
That's a great one to have around in your back pocket for PCs because there are lots of players that like to promise the NPC stuff and then they say they can't do anything about it.
And even in
screw you.
And even in 5e, I've looked at them. They're pretty boss.
Yeah.
And they were really tough to handle. The stats on Inevitable, they were some tough hombres.
They're stretching the envelope when it comes to what a golem kind of is.
Yeah, they're more of a construct, a living
construct, which they have AI.
I think it was somebody on Reddit, but somebody made a good statement. He goes, talking about the Inevitables, he goes, who wouldn't like plane shifting Terminators of Law? That's exactly what they were.
Right,
so they were pretty cool. Oh man, Killraven's doing it again. Look what he's trying to get us to do. Start over? Oh man.
He says that every time.
He's demanding, I know.
Our time is posted. On my computer to tell me when to start.
It's a good thing.
You guys got to know this.
Considered cool, so. But Modrons didn't see anything in third edition except for a Dragon Magazine article and a web enhancement supplement.
I need to make a graphic like subscribe, except it says Killraven here, time do over or start over or something like that. I need to do that. Zellicut.
Yeah. So David Gile, the Zellicut was the winged centaur one, and it went after those who escaped justice. There you go. Yeah. So.
They have some sort of magical ability to detect whether that was the case, or did they just say someone hired them and said, hey, these people did this, and they're like, okay, boss, and went after them? Do you know?
I agree with you, Killraven. You did demolish an epic level party in 3.5 with a pimped out Inevitable. They had the sweetest DR imaginable. It was like 30 or 15 / what was it? Not axiomatic. What was the other one? What was chaos? Axiomatic was law. They had something like that. It was really hard to have to bypass their DR. Plus, they had lots of cool tricks. And if you pimped him out, I'm sure he was ridiculous. Oh, the time travel one. Yeah, he was boss. If you did time travel bullcrap, he hunted you down. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one to use.
Yes,
I like that.
And to make sure you have time travel adventures first, so the players have to fight them. That's the best time. An adventure with the players.
That's a dick move.
It's a great dick move, though, because what you do is you tell the players to go this big adventure, right? So the king of the land says, hey, you need to go back and fix this horrible atrocity, but make sure you don't change anything else. And then everyone comes back, and they manage to do it sweating. We did it, dude. We did it. And he goes, you cannot change time. Yeah, that was great. Good. Well played, Killraven. Always attack. In 3.5, always attack parties with Inevitables. That's a great move. I guess 4th edition, we can't have much to say. I will say that I did look up. There was no Modrons until a Dragon issue. And 5e seems to have them all. Big 4, animated objects, clockwork creatures, shield guardians, Modrons. They have the Marut. That's the only, and it's referred to as an Inevitable, but I don't know if they have any others. But that's kind of where all the constructs and golems sort of landed in the different editions. So That might have been more information than you needed, but I had a really good time. Golems are a favorite of mine.
They're good. They're good challenges because you got to really. You either have to be able to take their attacks for long enough for you to be able to beat them down, and because you're not. A lot of times you're not bypassing all of their immunities.
I'm looking at OSE here, and I want to talk a minute about sort of their abilities that were interesting over the editions. I noticed that, and this disappointed me a little, and I guess it was true in certain versions of D&D. They were mundane damage immunity. That's pretty awesome. They were unharmed by gas, charm, hold, and sleep, and that was it. So because there was no kind of magic resistance in the BX,
right.
And I don't think there was in Rules Cyclopedia either.
But what's mundane damage immunity mean?
If you don't have magic items, they couldn't be damaged.
Okay, so your normal swords and stuff like that.
Ardman's got it. Short golems. And goblins can become problems.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, Randy says, Patrick, so help me, I will kick you in the nuts if you ever throw a poop golem at us. Looks like I'll be wearing my metallic cup soon, because that was in my plan.
Yeah, that would be
I didn't know this. 4E Modrons have a shtick where they could combine into more powerful types or split into to lessers.
Oh, okay. That's where Mortensen's comic comes from.
Yeah, Voltron.
Or Martinson there, Voltron. Yeah.
It seems like the immunity to normal weapons was across the editions. Immunity to a lot of spell-like things. Eventually, I think in first and second edition, they got Golem's immune to but a few spells, right? I just so happen to have the monster manual from 1E, I believe.
Well, sometimes they're immune because the spell itself says only X creatures are affected by it, and golems are often not named in those.
Unless someone can correct me, I'm going to assume that D&D pre-first edition golems basically were immune to anything but magic weapon attacks and a few spells, but that was it. I believe in first edition, let me see. Clay golems can only be hit by blunt magical weapons.
Clay golems.
Yeah. And I think they had did they have a magic resistance? It says see below. So I think you had to have only certain spells. They could haste themselves. Oh yes, there's a handful of spells. Move Earth, Disintegrate, and Earthquake were the spells that could affect the clay golem.
And then that was it.
Yeah, just a handful of spells, and that was it.
And then if you got hit by them, wasn't it that you couldn't get it healed? It couldn't heal normally except after a remove curse or something like that.
Yeah, first and second. Yeah, and that was a clay golem. Yeah, by a
clay golem.
17th level cleric had to cast healing.
Good luck.
And David Gile had it right on third edition. They weren't immune to every spell. They were immune to every spell that allowed a saving throw.
Yeah,
that was in third edition. In second edition, I think second was much more like first.
And there was a late enough, if you stuck around in third edition late enough, there was a book that gave you a few spells that affected the golems that were immune to, because it was a damaging spell that didn't offer a saving throw.
Mm-hmm. But as much as I get frustrated with that, when I sit and think about it, and Joe used to talk about this too, why would a wizard put all this crap into building a golem that he himself couldn't stop? I mean, it's like, okay, I created him. I sure. Oh, and golems would go crazy. Berserk was definitely a quality they often had at some point or another. And in third edition, you could not sneak attack them either. There was no backstabby type stuff.
It'd be one thing if golems were if the paradigm wasn't golems all over the place, right?
Yeah.
If there weren't a lot or any golems in your game world, and you were a wizard character, you played a wizard character, and you found the book that showed people how to make a golem. But cleverly, the person who left the book left out the part where they could berserk, and they're immune to anything you can do. So if you try to control it, it's going to just pound you into paste, unless if it goes berserk. So, I mean, as a guardian creature, I'm going to renege on my words a little bit.
Yeah.
That you were talking about. For something that's going to guard a wizard's things.
Yes.
Especially from other wizards who may use magic to acquire the wizard's things. A golem that is immune to a lot of things that a wizard can do would be useful. But I know that there are some supplements where when you create your golem, you can key the spells that can affect it. So you could key in the spells that you know.
Yeah.
Especially, some off-the-wall spell like Wizard Mark, right? If you cast Wizard Mark on this golem, it stops or whatever.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it would be cool just to have, here's a manual of the golems or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, those manuals.
You just leave out the details of it could go berserk, and it's immune to anything you could possibly do to it.
Right. And I think the flesh golem was the one that had the most likely chance, and then the clay golem, which was terrifying if he hit you because you lost your hit points. In first edition, it's worth reading. I know I brought it up, but you had to get healed, I believe, by a 17th level cleric. I don't think he could be healed at all. Clay golem. Yes, damage inflicted upon living matter by a clay golem is only repairable by means of a healing spell. Oh, maybe it wasn't the healing spell from a cleric of 17th or greater level. So yeah, that was pretty harsh.
Very, very.
I think the constructs were less deadly for the most part. They often you needed magic weapons to hit them, and they were immune to sneak attacks, but they didn't have a lot of the spell resistant stuff. And then the Modrons, for the most part, I think they had some magic resistance in second edition or first edition, but I think it was never too terribly powerful. Same, I remember the Maruts and the Inevitables were just pretty much boss all the way around. So, but yeah, I think that was a lot of their main powers. They had a lot of staying power in a fight. Had a lot of groups that when they see a golem, dude, they were like, oh man. It was usually like Joe's tactic was to do what? Avoid them some way.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times.
Get around it.
Yeah, we'll go around.
Yeah.
Try to discover its, if there is one, some secret button or thing that will make it to turn them off. Secret word. There's usually something. But yeah.
I did always think
trying to beat them down was just asking for lots of pain.
Yeah, even if you win, you're like, dang, that hurt. And you burn a lot of resources. I always thought, we talked about it once, Joe, I thought it would be cooler, instead of all clay golems having these 3 spells that hurt it, what if the caster just created a few spells that he knew to get around the golem's resistance, that he could put in a scroll of that spell inside the golem's physical being, which would make him susceptible to that. I think.
Well, that's kind of the story, the traditional story of the golem.
Yes.
There was a little scroll inside of it that contained the secret word. So yeah.
The TV show Supernatural did that, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Where they had a golem like that, and it was in his mouth, and they could get him to open his mouth. They could take the scroll out, and he was weakened. He couldn't do anything. He just stood there. That was kind of neat. Yeah, I think you're right, Killraven. The chat people are talking about what is that golem? Stained glass golem. I do believe he could cast prismatic spray. Yeah, that was pretty deadly.
Oh, prismatic spray. That's
I think I always liked the idea of golems. Are just, I guess probably part of it was my desire to kill your characters, but really a lot of it was they seem so appropriate in a dungeon.
Yeah.
They don't have to eat. They don't have any bodily functions that you got to worry about. And you can say, protect this item.
They don't care.
That's all they do.
Right.
And so
I don't like them as PCs, though.
Oh, the Warforged?
I really don't.
Yeah, that's where Eberron came in 3rd edition. I think that turned me off. They had a giant, and I couldn't find a good Wicca. I looked a little bit, but I couldn't find a good description of the Warforged. I have the Eberron book. I didn't want to rifle through it, but I remember disliking them quite a bit.
Because normally constructs and golems aren't affected by magic, but somehow the PC types are. And they have to make special rules and say because of this, that, and the other thing, and they have a heart or whatever it is.
Mhm.
It's just silly.
Well, and I think the Warforged, what I found annoying was they said, well, the Warforged can only be healed half hit points by healing spells. And then they came up with who's the dude?
Repair? Is it a
The
repair?
repair spells. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
what's the point then? So you're going to
Is
have
it the alchemist or
artificer.
Yeah.
And they made that right in the same book. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's even the point then? You know,
Yeah.
everybody, I'm playing a Warforged. Well, I guess somebody's got to play an artificer.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Or you have this, you know, you can make a potion or a wand, you know, of that spell.
And David Gell makes a good point. They weren't full on constructs. They had some sort of wood component and some even physical stuff, but just in general, I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Warforged was not my thing. We had some pretty crazy builds, and they had a weird, like, immune to poison, and a lot of things are really good. Yeah. So, Kill Raven, the Warforged could be an artificer. Yeah, true. Good point. I agree with Diablo 2, Mar Hawkman. He says golems are a little more than puppets, clay, metal, flesh, fire. Didn't matter. They were mindless things. Yeah, that's okay. That's definitely a way to do them.
Yeah.
The ones we play in D&D most of the time, though, have a certain set of instructions. They're not good at improvising. They're only good at, like, obeying what you say. Kill anyone that's not me that comes in this room. That's pretty sweet. So.
And that's when I lost my darling child.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, I don't use them as much as I used to, but I haven't forgotten them. I have I got to watch myself. I fall into the undead, demons, devils, and golem trap a lot because I do like them, but I want my players to have a little bit varied experience these days. Of course, not saying I won't use them, but I try to be more. Maybe
you like big things. You like giants.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of I think it's because the ease of running them. If you have one opponent versus 4, 5, 6 characters, it just seemed easier. I've always been a fan of the one big. Though I have not used dragons an enormous number of times. I've used them. I don't know. Probably not even fair. Probably just real light touch with dragons. But maybe not. I don't know. What do you think, Joe? You remember recall me using lots and lots of dragons in the recent past, or even a long time ago? Did I use them more?
Dragons. You like dragons.
Okay.
But not low level.
No.
When we start hitting certain levels, then dragons start being mode of play. So as long as we are stuck in like 6th, 7th, 8th level and below, dragons aren't a big thing because, depends on the version of the game, really.
Yeah.
I guess maybe in earlier versions, lower level characters could potentially face off against dragons because they didn't have that high hit points in the earlier games. Mm-hmm. But when you got into 3rd edition and beyond, dragon hit points went stupid high.
Second was pretty good. Second
was pretty good too.
Yeah, they I think the red dragon at Great Red Worm was 24 D10 plus something else.
Okay. So maybe from
that might have been his breath
compendiums. Yeah. That's when they brought out the monstrous compendium, the binders. Yeah.
I agree with Killraven. I am definitely bothered about disposable dragons. Good night, Mr. Larry. Heading out. We're losing a few folks. Oh, well, what are some of your favorite experiences with or use of golems, Joe? Do you have any 1 or 2 moments you remember that you thought was pretty cool, or that you thought was terrifying, or awesome, or dumb even?
I really hate playing against iron golems.
They are
super tough.
Yep.
They have very few vulnerabilities. If you don't have the right party makeup, I mean, it's really difficult to beat, even high level parties.
If you get caught unawares, they can make life pretty bad. I believe we check here in 1st edition.
Poison gas breath.
Yep. 1st edition, you had to have +3 weapons to hurt them. They could breathe out a poison gas up to 3 times. No, hold on. Let me see. They were 3 times stronger than flesh golems. A cloud of poisonous gas directly once every 7 melee rounds. Magic Fire healed them, though they were subject to a rest monster if you could summon or bring one. That's interesting, but that's hard to do. It doesn't say what their poison did, though. I'm looking.
I thought it was just save or die.
It just says breathe out a poisonous gas, 10 by 10 by 10, directly before it once every 7 rounds. Yeah, and they hit for 440 damage. Yeah.
Now, what edition is that? First edition?
First, but they do talk about Cloud Kill being one of their components to making them. So maybe that's. I think the intention was for poison to be save or die.
Save or die, and 4 to 40 was pretty much lights out.
Patrick's got a good point. I do like this quality. My favorite is stumping a paladin with a golem. Golems are neutral, immune to smite. Dig this, Patrick. Let me do my favorite. So I got 2. The second, I'll do my least favorite second, my favorite first. And 3.5, I was running my Magnum Opus, Joe. You played it. It was a massive dungeon for like 12th to 15th level total BA characters. And you ran into a demon flesh golem. Now what that is a golem that's created, a flesh golem from the flesh of demons. This one was constructed to look like Demogorgon. And what I did in the room is I assumed he went berserk, and he thought he was Demogorgon. Remember that? And you guys were like, holy crap, because he was massive. And you're like, Randy, did you just put Demogorgon in this room? I said, roll initiative. He goes, I am the Demogorgon. Don't you dare, blah, blah. And you guys were like, holy crap, we're fighting Demogorgon. And it was just a crazy golem. But he was super powerful anyway. He was tough. That was where I put the fear of golems. And they're like, because he looks like a fleshly creature. And you're like, oh my God, we're fighting Demogorgon. That was awesome. So, I mean, surprise you're fighting Demogorgon is kind of scary.
Yeah. Surprise you're going to die.
My next favorite one was probably, I guess I did like killing you guys, was from the Lost Caverns of Sojanth, where you encounter that clay golem. We played that module so much, you guys were like, okay, when we get to this place, do not check the alcove. Do not check the alcove.
Go there.
You guys do not go there. That was so good.
But no, that module itself is fun. I mean, even if you've played it multiple times, it's not that it's particularly clever, but I just think that it's iconic, and I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I would love to play through that more.
Did you play in the one version of it where I made you draw from the deck of many things to enter Drellsna's lair at the end?
Probably. You love throwing the deck of many things at all the time.
You guys were like, what?
So all roads lead to here. Mm-hmm. You must pull a card from the deck to proceed.
That's right. Oh, boy, that's top, dude. It may not be number 1 for me, but it is really close.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping Goodman Games redoes it in their reincarnated line. I just can't resist the reincarnated ones. Those are such good deals. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the other. Maybe we should do an episode on
Lost Caverns.
Artifacts.
On what?
Artifacts. Because you just brought up the deck of many things. Have an artifact.
Yeah, there you go.
Artifacts from back in 1E. There's nothing like those anymore.
Oh, there were artifacts in 2E too, but you're right.
It all got blunted from there.
Yeah, they were cooler. I love the tables in the original Dungeon Master Guide. Looks like, is Joe frozen to everybody else or just me? Does Joe appear to be frozen? Maybe it's just me. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, Randy looks like everything went like, I don't know what happened.
We're having some issues. You were frozen for my end for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, you too. And then both boxes had the circly things.
Oh,
so I don't know what that was. Maybe that was did everybody out there see that as well?
Yeah.
Let us know what you saw so I can figure out what that might have been. It could have.
Mar says you were preserved in carbonite for a moment. Yes, they all agreed you were frozen, not me. Patrick swears you just accidentally cast Time Stop.
Accidentally. I like to do it on purpose sometimes.
Killraven hits it out of the park for me. If you look at it from the perspective, and I remember that feeling, Killraven, when it first came out, Lost Caverns was full of sweet pictures like Tomb of Horrors, a fantastic dungeon and story, and that chick at the end was a badass vampire. It had an artifact in there, and you got a bunch of new crap. New monsters. The Bahir was first. Yeah, dude. That's gosh, I should buy that module again just to have it. Man.
You don't have it?
Joe, remember Dumb Randy? Well, not dumb. I feel dumb now. I sold a lot of my second edition and older stuff.
Oh, I thought you had multiple copies of that. I'm pretty sure I have a copy of Sojanth over here.
Well, give it to me, and that'll be fine. I think Joe's frozen again. Yes, it was. It was great. So Killraven's got the right of it.
Yeah, it's good. It was good stuff. And they don't make stuff like that nowadays.
Really.
I don't want to be too much of an old, what's the name for it for us old generation folks?
Fuddy Duddy.
No, yeah, there's another one. Boomer. I don't want to sound too boomer, but I guess it doesn't exist in the WotC paradigm. Probably in the OSR paradigm, but I'm not as connected with that as I should be or could be. So what would be cool is if anybody here knows of OSR type experiences that you could say are similar.
Dude, slow down. That's a stream.
What?
Oh, sorry. The experiences of old school, because Darth is asking me. Darth Deek says, "Have you ever ran the Night Below box set?"
No, Night Below, yeah.
I never ran it. You might have.
I tried. There's Night Below, and there's another one similar to that. They both came out.
That bring back a shared experience. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. The cool thing about Night Below was you could end up, if you really beat the boss monster, you could end up with a flying castle kind of thing that you could control. But anyway, that would if folks know of OSR experiences that you could compare that have the same kind of coolness to them that say a Lost Caverns of Sojanth or
that's what I love about
White Plume Mountain.
Yeah.
What's the other Caves of Chaos?
Yeah.
Right. That's not the name of the thing.
Keep on the Borderlands, baby.
Keep on.
Series, yeah.
Yeah. So those three.
Yeah, Patrick hitting it out of the park.
So if there are OSR or indie module experiences that you guys think of that are comparable to those, I think I might make a Twitter post about that.
I think
that could give us another. One of us, Randy, could buy that and then run it and then review it, and then we can talk about it because.
Well, I've got Dark Tower hanging to review. I keep swearing, but dude, I'm so sidetracked with other stuff. I have no excuse. Joe's working like a madman, so I need to.
Dark Tower is.
Dark Tower is the module with Mitra's Fist. It was a third-party product by Judges Guild. I have the reprint from Goodman Games years ago. I'm also I got the reincarnated version coming to the 2-book collection.
Right. So Dark Tower, how old is that? That's old.
Yeah, it's pretty old. I did stupidly buy the DC. I bought the 5e version because I don't think I wanted the DCC version. But yeah, but those are just so good.
Basic Fantasy has some clones of the old stuff, but it'd be cool if there was some unique, adventure modules out there that had a similar, not the same thing specifically, but something that people talk about like we do.
I think DCC is about to come out with a module. Well, I'm cool on DCC. They're about to come out with a module that I think could possibly be on that level just because it sounds so unique. I kickstarted it, Music of the Spheres. It's got some widgets and stuff that sound really good. Never played Dragon Mountain, but I think Joe was a fan of that one, Darth.
That's the other one. So there's Night Below and Dragon Mountain. They were both released. I don't know if they were in the same year or back-to-back years, but they have a similar thing to them. They're big modules. Lots of little pieces, parts inside. Heavy box sets.
Remember second edition, they had Rod of 7 Parts. That had a really neat picture booklet. So did the Return to the Tomb of Horrors. That was quite the elaborate storyline by Bruce Cordell near the end of second. That's a hot item. That's hard to find. I used to have it. Dang it.
Yeah. Dragon Mountain, that's the one where you end up with Flying Castle, and you end up having to beat the minions of the dragon, which are all like goblins. But
kobolds, I thought.
Kobolds. But you're in a passage that the passages under the mountain are all like 2 feet tall. So you're crawling through them and fighting them.
Yeah.
So that it's a unique environment.
I think we've talked about really we mentioned. Should we talk a little about the background of the golem? Just a minute. I'm going to make a comment. Let me share something, okay, Joe?
No.
No, okay. Let's see here, dude. Chrome. Here we go. The Wikipedia thing. This is the golem, an animated anthropomorphic being in Jewish folklore, which is entirely created from inanimate matter, usually clay or mud. The Psalms from the Bible and medieval writings, the word golem was used as a term for amorphous, unformed material. So the most famous golem narrative involves a Judah Lo ben Bezalel from Prague. He was a rabbi. Many tales differ on how the golem was brought to life and controlled. The golem is a highly mutable metaphor with seemingly limitless symbolism. It can be a victim or a villain, a Jew or a non-Jew, man or woman. Over the centuries, it has been used to connote war, community isolation, hope, and despair. It goes on and on with the true etymology of the golem. It's biblical sort of quote-unquote origins. They claim that the word is actually used in the Bible in Psalms 139:16. But I guess it depends on your interpretation. But probably, maybe in the original Hebrew, it was the word golem. I think that's interesting that we got some smart cookies on here that knew that. So, but just thought that was interesting that was the case. Yeah. All right. Oh, here's a good point. Martinson says, "At Randy, would you rather have all those modules and never play them, or have your bike in new use?" Well, the truth is, I'd like to have a select portion of those old D&D stuff that I would now repurpose for the games that I play. But yes, I love my bicycle. Just got it tuned up, and it is ready to roll. I've already ridden it a couple of times. So, yeah. All right. What say we talk about some alternate takes for these creatures, Joe? That'll wrap up our discussion.
Sure, but I'm going to do this first.
Oh, you tell them that, dude. Yeah.
I'm slapping that across your face.
Yes.
Subscribe, like, share, hit the thumbs up button. That's the like button, I suppose.
Subscribe to the face. I like that.
Also, there are lots of things that you can do apart from subscribing. It's kind of preaching to the choir at this point.
Yeah.
Since I had a subscriber-only block up, the folks that are here are subscribers already. But you can head over to Big Geek Emporium, at least take a look around, make an account, see if there's anything there you like. That would be great. And tell people about the live stream, tell people about us. Subscribing only gets us so far. I don't know that we have grown in subscribers at all. No, in the last week. So that's fine. We're all pals anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really look at the folks that we have connected with here online.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, DM James.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Thanks for stopping by. I think of us as a bigger friend group.
Yeah, it sure seems like it.
Not
love to
followers or worshipers or anything like that. I mean, just bigger friend group. It's good stuff. Oh, DM Kurt is here too.
Yeah, these are dudes I keep inviting to Cabin Con sideways, and one day they're going to show up and we're going to be like, "Holy crap, we need 9 more cabins."
They're all sleeping in your bed.
Hey, I scoot over. We get cozy. Oh, okay. So what about some alternate takes here? Oh, yeah, that might be the truth.
Yeah.
Like that, DM James.
It's Jewish mysticism is the Kabbalah.
Yeah. So I had 3 different takes on the Golem. And to me, they sound like fun campaign takes. One of them was, what if the technique of creating golems were lost to time? Wizards and such seek to find the formula, but find it nearly impossible. Finding or encountering one is like finding something from a bygone Byzantine era, truly mysterious, really ancient sorcery, so that it's really rare. And then, of course, your PCs find one because they got to. That's the cool thing. And then you're really somebody special, right? Like, dude, Joe, you made a stone golem? Yeah, he's right here. This is called Porky. He looks like a pig, but he smashes like a beast.
He carries my stuff.
He carries my stuff. And don't make
a compartment in his back. I just open it up. It's all there.
Yeah. I like that one. I also had another one. This is more, I don't call it Planescape, but it uses Mechanus. A powerful wizard. This is kind of superhero-y, guys. I mean, only from the perspective. So imagine a wizard. What is that? Dr. Frankenstein made a flesh golem and killed him.
You're saying it wrong.
Frankenstein. Oh, DM James, living statue. So are you a BX guy? Are you a OSE dude? He likes the living statues. They are good.
Yeah.
Did you have one, Joe, or do you want me to keep going with my second?
Keep going.
Okay, so imagine a powerful wizard summons an Ultron-like being, one that was bound eons ago to the plane of ultimate law. Call it Mechanus. This creature seems to be under his control for a while, and he uses it to help the world. And it slowly uses its powers of law, control, mathematical logic to take over all constructs and golems in the world and lead them in revolt. Very Avengers 2, right? Yeah.
Right. Making
them organize, gain sentience, attack flesh world leaders, perhaps bring about, perhaps bring about an apocalypse if the PCs and the world doesn't figure it out. So don't make it happen automatically, but just drop these little, nuggets of weird things happening along the way. Look, that Iron Golem went berserk, blah, blah, blah. How come it did that? We put this, we have this behavior inhibitor. And it would be really interesting if you went one step further. What if at one time the Ultron-like leader said, turn now, and pretty much all the powerful wizards were killed by their own golems. So now the apocalypse is going to happen because the golems are free and you don't have the wizards to kind of do something. So I think that would be a cool setting, even if you began after the golem apocalypse. That would be
cool. Sure. That would be a great backstory. And then wizards would be rare and perhaps hated.
Yeah. Now, Joe probably won't care for this one unless you go, oh, I forgot one. David Gow mentioned one I didn't even mention. The Homunculus. I should have mentioned that one. That's a cool little dude. I used a lot of those back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So my third one is a world not unlike Eberron, Joe's favorite, wherein constructs are a part of life. Highly magical world. Suddenly one day, they all stop working. No magic will jumpstart these creatures. If you use Warforge, they stop as well. So if your PC is a Warforge, boom. For all intents and purposes, you're dead. This could lead to a sort of tragedy as the world tries to deal with the losses of its free labor. Of course, this could lead to a situation wherein magic itself is starting to fail, and perhaps the automatons are just the first thing to go. The PCs must find the reason for this, or their own magic may eventually fail. These are just options. No spells and no magic items are a great way to motivate players to try to solve a problem. So.
Oh, yeah. I'd hate to do the snap on golems if there's a Warforged in the party, though.
Yeah, that'd be hardcore, though. Martinson says, what is the wizard's name? Tony Stark? Yeah, probably. Ooh, this is neat. Cal, I had an adventure I used to run where the bad guys are trying to empower an iron golem with a Lich's life force. Yeah, remember. That's cool. I think it was, who's the dude we had on? The last guest we had on, Joe. Legacy, Game Master.
Yeah.
talk about something like that.
Yeah, that would be something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're already a lich.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I could put my soul in that there iron golem.
Talk about a hard phylactery to destroy. Put it in a greater iron golem. Yeah, good luck with that. Did you have any others you wanted to add? I thought those were kind of cool alternate uses.
Those are cool. Those are very cool.
Yes, DM James. That's how I would use it. I wouldn't say Tony Stark. I would say Antonio of the House of Stark. Yes.
Now, I will say that these rely on perhaps fairly extensive golems in your world, especially the Eberron one.
Yes.
So in Eberron, there's lots of golems.
Yeah, I mean, the first one and the last one are kind of different sides of the same coin, right? The first one is where golems are so rare, no one's even heard of a wizard creating one in 2,000 years. Right. The other one is they're all over the place, and then boom, they all power down.
Right.
Especially if you use them like an Eberron. I mean, an Eberron, the Warforged were initially created to fight a horde of undead. So they sent constructs to fight this undead army. So, that's true. And definitely number 2, the one with the Ultron-like figure, is a complete rip-off of Avengers 2. But I mean, I think
and for that to work, for that to have any amount of punch, there would still need to be lots of golems, or fairly.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, you have to have an Eberron-like world where they have all this, magical constructs, and doohickeys are all over the place.
Or enough of them in key places. Or perhaps many cities have a guardian that is a golem. Mm-hmm. So you would need to have, there need to be some presence. Most game worlds, golems are underground in the dungeons. There are not too many of them
right
out and about.
Mar makes a comment on the Eberron War. I think it was called the Last War. The never living versus the living dead. Has a lot of logic to it, actually. Yeah, I mean, and you're not wasting. I'm sure they thought we're not wasting the lives of people like in the big war, and then the Warforged gets some sentience or whatever. Cal's Adventure sounds awesome. He said he ran it at cons. I bet it was really good. If you come to Big Geek Con, that's only his working title. We have that next year. I'd be glad to play in it. I would love to play in it, actually. Anything else before we move on to the last segment? I think it's our last segment. Yeah, we've kind of already hit the one D&D. What do you think?
No, I think I'm good with where we are at with golems. I like golems as a player, even though they're so tough because they're so tough.
I think I like the toughness. I like this. Like I said, I guess it's that statement from that Reddit guy. They just don't stop. They don't eat. They don't breathe. You can't reason with them. You can't bargain with the golem. He's coming, and you better be ready.
They would also be good in not just like an underground dungeon, but what if you had like a pyramid type setup, something like that, mausoleum, anything that is a structure that's supposed to stay away from it.
Or even if you
have guardians.
But a keep, a king's keep, a powerful emperor, he has stone golems all in his keep guarding several important places. Not every single place in the world, but that would be cool. Kill Ravens tapping my Planescape interest. In my campaign, Trade Gate, which I believe, does that lead? No, that doesn't lead to Mechanist. It's a different place. Is policed by a variety of golems. No diplomacy working to grease those gates.
So Trade Gate is a specific gate town? A
gate town. Where's it from, Killraven? I'm blanking right now. That's not the one to Mechanist. Is that to... Limbo. What is it? Anyway, that'll tell me. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, we're going to head into a new thing we're doing, apparently. Randy likes to spring new things on me.
I do.
Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mechanics.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about various mechanics. Now, when I first looked at this, I thought it was bigger because I wasn't sure about the layout here. But I'm still thinking that this could be multiple because this is lots of stuff in here, even though it takes up a small amount of space.
Why don't we just do you want to go TSR era and before D&D tonight? Just that half?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
why don't we do that? We'll save post second edition to next time or some other day. Because I got 3 or 4 great ideas for streams.
So now I'm going to bring something up, OD&D ish.
Yeah.
Because that's chainmail and related booklets, right?
Yeah. So I'm talking so we're talking the original 3 plus Greyhawk plus Eldritch Wizardry. The stuff we really didn't play much. I've just looked at the big 3 in the original white box. And
now I'm going to bring up something that isn't necessarily official, but I sure thought it was back in the day.
Right.
It was in a Dragon magazine that presented the article as if it was a piece of the old D&D.
Oh, really?
And it was Wizard Blade. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. You love that thing.
Yeah. You drained an amount of your experience points into a sword, and you essentially had a sword that could cast spells of a particular level wizard. So if you drained enough. So if you worked it so that you were high enough level, you could drain all of your experience points to except enough to but still maintain your level. So if you had
a level.
Right. No, you could in the process of doing this, but I'm saying I didn't, as a player, I didn't want to lose the level.
Right.
So I would wait for a particular level. I can't remember what it was. And wait until I had enough experience points to just level, but don't, and then use all those to make the sword, right?
Yeah.
And then what you can do is make a 9th level wizard. So you have to be a high level wizard to do this.
Right.
So you could have a 9th level wizard inside of a sword.
Oh, that's right.
So it'd have all the spell casting capabilities of a 9th level wizard up to 5th level, 5th level spell.
That's serious business.
Yeah.
I remember
there was a wizard ring that was something similar.
I think there was correct me, people help me out here. I think in original OD&D, the Wizard Blade or some version of that was in Eldritch Wizardry from that, and they were bringing it into AD&D when we read that Dragon magazine.
Okay.
I believe so.
I thought it was in Eldritch Wizardry, but it's not. It wasn't. It was a Dragon magazine article that's connected to Eldritch Wizardry.
Okay.
But not that itself.
Yeah. Other than that, mechanically of OD&D, I was not a big nothing. We didn't play it much, but even reading it, nothing. I was like, I have no idea, no desire to really pull anything out of it, specific mechanic wise.
I think since we played BECMI first,
right?
When we finally got our hands on this, it was all familiar, and you see where BECMI got its root, it got its stuff from, those supplements. But I don't know that there was anything in there. I didn't really particularly like the hits to kill thing because it's very wargamey.
Yeah, it was
structure.
It's a historical document to me, though. I do like Swords and Wizardry's take on White Box. There was some fun stuff in there, like the single saving throw. I wanted to mention that, but that's more of a clone, more of a variant. But I didn't like. I can say nothing stands out to me mechanically. The OD&D that I would say I liked.
Some people like hits to kill.
Yeah.
Because you don't have hit points. But
I didn't like everything doing a D6 damage.
Right, everything doing the same damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have necessarily the all the different polyhedrals at that time, perhaps, or that's just also another artifact of the wargaming thing.
Right, could be. I don't know I know that they had to make some. They used chits in some of the original boxes, but I don't know if that was OD&D or BECMI. So.
I don't think we did this. Did you ever play through asking a question asked to Bruce Lombardo? Did you ever play through the 3rd edition rewrite of Mordenkainen's or Mordenkainen? I don't know how.
I think it's Kainen.
Mordenkainen's adventure in dungeon. I don't remember that.
I have it back there on my shelf. I'm sure I do. I remember reading it. I've never played it though. I'm surprised because I remember seeing it. What about BECMI and BX? Now there we got more rule cyclopedia type stuff.
In retrospect, there are some interesting things. So
Right,
at the time we were playing,
yeah,
you know, it was all new. So
yeah, we're loving every bit of it.
But the
and that's what we're doing. We're trying to look back now and say, what did you like? What things?
The interesting thing is, if is this for me, it jumped out with spells,
Yes.
because of course I like playing wizards, so I looked at them and I'm like, that changed a lot through additions.
I thought they were very powerful.
Like sleep.
Powerful. Yeah.
There wasn't a saving throw initially, and I don't know what particular version of the game, which version of the game that changed to having a saving throw. Was it third, or was it second, and we just didn't notice it?
I don't think so. There was no saving throw in sleep, not even in third. It was limited by hit dice. But what about haste?
But
in EX,
the not saving throw isn't the biggest part. The biggest thing is it's so many. So you could target 16 individuals potentially, and there's no saving throw.
Yeah.
And I think the duration of the sleep is a lot longer.
Yes, like turns and turns.
Yeah, it's long.
I like the fact that I'm putting BX, basic D&D, BECMI all together here. I like the stat modifiers, especially when we're playing an OSC BX +3 to -3. I like the broader range of no modifiers. I think just for simplicity, I don't think we need to keeps modifiers from getting out of hand. I thought that had a lot of nice things to it. Also liked, what do you think? I like Cure Light Wounds. That slight little adjustment.
Where it can cure paralysis as well. There's all kinds of little tidbits here and there that they, I think, thought were too powerful. Or I know in third edition they were fans of a spell does one thing. Although that there was plenty of spells that did more than one thing, like Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion does all kinds of stuff.
Yes. Now, Bruce is making a comment. I want to bring it because I want your reaction to it. I think you're going to get some argument here a little bit. Bruce says, this is a different thing. He still thinks that through the additions and splits, Arcana Unearthed Magister is still peak wizard. I think you're going to get agreement.
Yeah.
And then Pathfinder Wizard, pretty solid. If you don't like the Arcanist from the ACG, which is shit, I disagree. I think the Arcanist is solid. Well, no, I don't think that. Don't you and Patrick both like the Arcanist?
The Arcanist is kind of a Magister light.
Oh, okay.
And the reason that's a good thing is because the magic, if you have the entire shebang for Magister, it has too many moving parts. So if you have the spells that have a diminished and a heightened version, which is a version that's one level lower and one level more powerful. So you memorize a second level spell. That second level spell has a first and a third level version as well that you can cast spontaneously. So, but they're just slightly different from each other. So when you're sitting down to play, knowing so you can have 10 spells memorized, but you really have 30.
Right.
And knowing what all those do is kind of a lot to keep in your head.
Yeah. What about domain play? I think the emphasis in domain play, that's more me coming. Now, when we first played it, I didn't care for domain play. I didn't want to worry about building up your keep and stuff.
I was always a fan. I was drawing castles with weird stuff like a gym.
Yeah.
In it, which was dumb because this is when we were teenagers. So.
Oh, a castle inside of a gym?
No, a gym inside of a castle.
Oh, okay. Oh, DM James, he makes a good point. If your wizard can't kill someone by forcing them to vomit bees, what are you even doing with your life? Sweet.
I heard somebody say that, and at first my first knee-jerk reaction to this was no, but they were saying what they thought was bad about some of the editions of D&D for spells is that they don't feel very magic. So if the range of the spell is 10 feet per level, that's one thing. But if it's one, the nearest, let's say, 5 paces, or something the nearest tree, or something that's less board game soundy or less war game soundy, 5 paces or something like that. The first thing you can see, the closest this, and at first I was like, well, maybe not, but I get that. And also it would kind of take away the whole targeting issue. You wouldn't be fiddling with your spell, what do they call them, templates?
Yeah, little template things, yeah.
You wouldn't be fiddling with spell templates and saying, oh, they fit and they don't, they fit, they don't, like kind of weird.
DM James and Malachi says this too. I know this is one of them. Nah, you got to have them have violent diarrhea. Isn't this coming from what's that game? Something
Legend of the Flame Princess. It might be Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Shadow of the Demon Lord. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. But I love I didn't like domain play when we started, but I liked it better now. I like the idea of it. What about first and second edition? What things come to mind that you really, Shadow of the Demon Lord. Thanks, Malachi.
I think first and second edition.
Yeah. I mean, if you're done with BECMI. Unless you
yeah. That's the thing. That's the big thing. Well, the other thing about BECMI is 36 levels.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Didn't you also like their weapon mastery rules?
Yeah, the weapon mastery rules.
Okay, yeah.
But it's kind of okay. I also am a fan of a simple weapon list.
Yes.
Right. Sword, bow, mace, or club, something like that.
Right.
Broad categories instead of a sword. 10 different swords, and they're maybe a couple of inches different in size, or maybe even less. And they're all different. They'll have slightly different mechanics, especially in third edition when you had so many different mechanical things.
I know.
Crit threat. Yeah, crit damage, crit threat, all the different things. But in earlier editions, you didn't have that, so it wouldn't be as big of a deal to have lots of different kinds of weapons. But the weapon mastery list changes that to a
dramatically,
maybe an overcomplicated thing. But I think you could take that idea and make it simpler, but still have the same thing, And I think they tried that with weapon specialization.
Do you think that was trying to give the fighter a little more teeth?
Well, everybody could specialize.
Oh, okay. Everybody could. Okay.
Yeah. I think it was just another way to make your character more interesting. And there's a little power up.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think even with basic D&D, this goes with TSR D&D too. And they're all TSR. My point is, even first and second, whatever. I like PC fragility. I'm really a fan of PCs not being, look, I'm third level and I have 80 hit points. Or like my character, I'm a third level cleric and I blasted for 56 hit points. That's a little insane.
Yeah. I think I have gone back and forth between having PCs that are survivable.
Yep.
Where you don't get hit by one little sword blow and then you have to run home and get a Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like the idea of having maybe a kicker bit of hit points at first level.
Yeah.
But I understand why a lot of people in old school like fragile characters, especially first level characters.
Yeah.
And it adds to tension in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the stakes are a bit higher. And maybe you have to go through a few characters before one sticks. Yeah. That's a play style a lot of people enjoy having.
Yeah. I know in first and second edition, it was older. It was true in older editions too. I like monster immunities. I don't like just damage reduction as much. I don't like in fifth edition where it's like 50% damage. In third edition it was like plus, if you didn't, it had DR10 evil or whatever. If you weren't using an evilly aligned weapon or you weren't an evilly aligned person with a claw attack, you would, get 10 less damage. It was okay, but I preferred it. I like the old ones, like these guys. Yeah, even if it was like +3 weapons to even hurt them, I like it because it's like it's a real challenge. I also like Saver Suck spells.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've come around to this, but I miss some spells just, sorry, you're screwed. The
Stakes are higher.
Yes.
In an old school game, the stakes are higher all over the place. So if you have monsters that have that level of immunity, magic weapons to hit.
Yeah.
Not it takes 5 points off each hit.
Right.
You don't do nothing.
And getting a save every stinking round. Also, what about I like TSR's version of stat boosting items. They were rarer. Granted, they could be big bumps, like your belts went from I got a 16 strength fighter, now I've got a 19, or I've got a 21. I like that. I like the fact they were hard to come by. And again, first and second edition. Yeah, I like the power of the spells. They were cooler. I mean, sometimes they seemed like Stone Skin in second edition or first edition. That Stone Skin seemed way OP, but I've heard some cheesy ways to get around it.
Well, they're definitely cheesy if you're talking about the handful of coins.
Gosh, yeah, I had that guy do that.
Stupid.
It is stupid. That's not an attack. You throw 20 gold coins at me. That's one attack. That's not 20 attacks.
It's not even an attack.
No, not really. It's like, yeah.
No.
I would argue. That's how I'd argue now. You're not attacking them. You're throwing gold coins at them. They're like, hey, quit it.
You've given them your money. Good job.
Yeah. I was going to take that after I killed you from your corpse, but okay. Guess I'll take it now. Yeah. Yeah, and Marhawk makes a good point. I think Savers Suck is why you want to use saving throws. I mean, if you're not saving versus something, what are you doing?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
That was the charm of the early game, is high stakes.
Yeah. I think that's a good, and I think I want to find something in the middle. You mentioned after our experience last week or 2 weeks ago, last week, when I almost dropped 3 of you.
Yeah, that was a rolling thing.
I get it, but I wouldn't mind that kicker you talked about again. But I'm thinking, because my first thought was add their con. That seems too much. Maybe add half their con score, or give them max hit points plus a double the con score. Oh.
DM James, I suppose throwing 20s at a stripper is an attack now?
Yeah, so this was, I thought I told this story. I had Raceland in a really high level second edition game. The players were not supposed to fight him. It's a long Kryn/Planescape game. But anyway, one group of players decided to attack him. And they never got to the adventure. They just argued the whole 2.5 hours, and they said, let's fight. Actually, they may have done part of it. No, they didn't do anything. So anyway, and Raceland goes first. I went initiative, and I cast, of course, he cast Stone Skin. And he had what was it? He had something. How could you cast 2 spells? I don't know. He had a Stone Skin, and then they tried to do something to it. It didn't work. And then he cast Projected Mirror Image. That was a combination contingency spells. But anyway, they were just getting their asses handed to him. And one dude the fighter was trying to hit him, and he knew he had Stone Skin. So he goes, I throw a bag of coins, because Raceland had something like 20-something Stone Skins. And so I'm feeling kind of wussy DM-ish. I'm feeling sorry for him. I said, no, there's a catch to this. I said, okay, you get rid of the Stone Skins, but he has another chain contingency. And that puts whenever Stone Skins run out, and I had this written down, I showed him on paper, a Stone Skin goes on top of that and a fire shield immediately. So take half. Yeah. Oh, wow. Legion of Myth. I watched a guy cuss it out a DM when the DM would let him throw a handful, would or would not, rocks at a Stone Skin caster not count as an attack. This dude spent weeks trying to poach players to his, oh, wow. That was probably his plan at the beginning. So.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's one thing. Okay. That probably comes from playing with strangers. More than likely.
Yeah.
Because I know that I think maybe when we first got together here in Michigan with the crowd and we were going through different people, it might have been a surprise for some of them, because some of them might be used to that tactic working. And then you would say, no, that's pretty much a stupid thing to do. And some people would say, ooh, that's so clever. But a gold coin hitting you or a sword hitting you.
Right.
I think they're two different things.
Bruce makes an interesting comment. He says, I like the damage reduction if the players don't have the proper weapons to damage a monster. It's not bad. Let them do something, but it feels a little weak when you give them something for nothing. Oh, you don't have a +3 weapon, then the Maruts will shrug off your attacks and throttle you to death. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't go after a Marut if you don't have a +3 weapon. But I'm with you. +3 is kind of weird sounding, Bruce. I like the idea of like you need a special blessed weapon or you need a special item or adamantine or something. I get it. I mean, if you really want to be rolling through a lot of creatures with DR, I can't say I hated DR. I just grew to find it a little weak in 3.5, to be honest with you. When it went from, at least in 3rd edition, it was like 10, 20, 30, even 40 epic.
Yeah.
And then in 3.5, it was 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, they lowered it for some reason.
Yeah, and then 3.5, you could build much more powerful damage monsters. I thought it made no sense. They should
It ended up not really being that big of a deal.
No, once you get to a certain, even a Pathfinder, it doesn't mean anything.
It's like a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
It matters at low level.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to higher levels, not so much.
Yeah, that's true, Bruce. Plus, I get you. +4 weapons are equivalent to adamantium weapons, costly as hell. Sure. I just think that I think it doesn't matter much. If the DR is 10 something, who cares? You're a 9th, 10th level fighter. Taking 10 damage off means nothing.
You'd rather have it than not, but you're going to do a bunch.
Vital strike, overhand, chop, combo, death. I don't remember all the rules.
Yeah.
4,000 D6 plus 10 or something. I don't know. So,
I mean, it got to be where I would say minimum damage is 500.
Yep.
Or it wasn't 500, but
take
it was
off 10. No, but if you had multiple attacks, my minimum damage is 72. I did 3 attacks, so they got 10. That's 30 off. But I want me to roll. No, don't bother. It's good.
It's paced.
Yeah, or you can roll 97 D6 and add 56.
Right.
I mean, but
I think in a game where in the base game without all the options, the DR probably worked better.
And I think Bruce can run a game. Anybody can run a game that is where it can be challenging. I just know that, especially in Pathfinder, we're playing the high end of things and allowing a lot of free builds for all things. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree with Kill Raven, but we're getting to 3rd edition now. Maybe we'll say that for next time. He's talking about SR and DR. But yeah, any other mechanics you were fond of in the older games?
Okay, so pre-WotC, even 1st and 2nd edition, especially 1st edition, had unique. Again, it's spells. It had unique spells that did interesting things that you could use creatively. Starting in 3rd edition, some of that was homogenized, where they were trying to do the spell does one thing, and that's it. It doesn't do anything else. And usually, once you got past the low-level spells, that wasn't the case. But I think when you compare spell descriptions, the older spells just seem more interesting. The farther you get down the line with spell descriptions, they get more bland.
Bruce says he's going to be having. He made the comment in the game he's rewriting 3rd or Pathfinder. Medium creatures start with their con score hit points plus rolled. Yeah, I consider that's a lot of hit points. I considered that feels a little too much, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. That doesn't sound too bad.
Do you get your con bonus on subsequent levels? I think that would work really well, especially if you didn't get your con score at subsequent levels. You get your hit point bump at 1st level, and then your subsequent levels just add a little bit at a time.
Yeah, he says his Maralists are jumping from current 264 hit points to 360 to 400. So he's got some pretty beefy dudes. He's got that handled. Well done, Bruce. Big hit points. That's the name of the game. Damage. Oh well. Yeah, nothing else really came to mind for me for that era that I just loved those stats. I mean, mechanics I'm focusing on. We could talk about the feel of the game and stuff, but I think I'm more about the mechanics on that.
Right.
Really.
When did the Monstrous Compendium was an interesting thing that came out in second edition,
Mm-hmm.
and that was I don't know if it was overall power up for the monsters, but it sure seemed like it.
The Dragon's got a huge power up in second edition.
Yeah.
Just in general, their hit dice went up. I guess that's a mechanic. They had massive hit dice. Yeah.
I tell you one I didn't like for second edition.
What's that?
And you know what it is.
I can't imagine. What could that possibly be, Joe?
The freaking damage caps for spells.
What? My fireball can't go beyond 10d6. I barely even got fireball. And now I'm already capped. You've had it for 5 levels. Shut up.
I had a screw the wizard mentality from my point of view.
Man, nothing wrong. That should be one of our fundamental vision. That should be in our mission and vision statement for Mudsword.
Well, I would go to the Dragon magazine and say, "Hey, do you have anything for wizards in here?" Nope. Hey, wizards.
Magic, but not for
the game is chock full of magic. Anything for the people who wield it? No. Awesome. Great. Thanks.
Right. Thanks for the nothing.
Yes. 50 million different kinds of paladins.
Dude, Bruce is going on with some sweet stuff. He said, look at this. Bruce said, in his game, let me find that again. Every plus of a magic weapon does an additional D6 damage. Decent. That's not bad for a fighter power up.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Instead of the bonus damage on the instead of the +1, +2, +3, it's dice. I thought of that too as a mechanic.
I disagree, Patrick. Patrick says wizards want the staff, not the shaft.
That is correct. And yeah, we're not going Wizards of the Coast. We're sticking with the old staff paradigm.
Good comments out there, guys. But yeah. Oh, Bruce did clarify. You do get your con bonus on subsequent levels, but you get your con score at first level. I've heard of that. I think that was something I'd heard before. Maybe in Dragon magazine I was reading back in the day. I've heard of that option.
It's a popular bump.
Mm-hmm. It's quite a bit for even in BX. If you have a 10 to 12 con, that's a nice bump. It's a nice bump.
So you can stay out there adventuring for longer and not get the merest scratch.
We talked about how when I was my Monty Hall days, how I did we wanted to adventure for a long time, so first level fighters would have 100 hit points.
Yeah.
And I would just give it to them. And first level clerics would have 75, first level thieves would have 50, and first level wizards got 25. So that's how we played. So we could play longer. We're like, man, you got to die with 8 hit points or 2 hit points. That's stupid. So, but I mean, we had fun. Played a lot, dude. So
yeah.
And it wasn't like you guys weren't nervous about stuff. I had plenty of tough monsters.
No.
Of course, I didn't use the rules very much, so that made them tough.
Yeah. How much damage they do? Whatever I say.
Yeah. I didn't hear you roll dice. Hold on. I rolled dice for 54 damage.
Wizard's Staff of Infection. Arnman, that's a good one.
Kill Raven, that's a good rule. Important NPCs, monsters, max hit points. I almost always do that. And had scrubs go down with 1 hit point. Yeah, I would do max hit points or more.
You never did that scrub thing, though.
Yeah, I did. Not really.
No.
But I like the idea of it.
But we didn't do that until we picked. I think that was one thing we borrowed, perhaps from 4th edition, was the what did they call it?
Static hit.
The minion guys.
Rules. That's not bad. That's fun.
What they didn't call them minions. What did they call them?
They were minions in 4th edition. They're called mooks in 13th age.
Okay, mooks. Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought we used that thing before we played 13th age. You were using that.
Mar Hawkman is channeling my mantra from early D&D when I was evil. The Hydra ate you and you're dead. This is good. Mark continues. It's like Saber Suck, but more teeth.
More teeth.
Yeah. Oh, man. What you feeling? I'm feeling like we're near the end, bro.
Yeah. I'm tired.
Remind them to do stuff the last minute, though.
Yeah. I will remind. Subscribe if you haven't already, although all of you have, because this is a subscribers only chat. So if you're out there listening after the fact or watching after the fact, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button.
Join us.
But join us.
Yes.
Join us.
Definitely.
Like, subscribe, comment. If you have any, well, we're going to get to that later. But do all the things that you do on the internet to help out and boost your favorite creators, which we are. We know we are.
Well, Joe's created Big Geek Emporium. I will hopefully join the creators soon with my module. So.
Yes, head on over to Big Geek Emporium and check it out.
Yeah, baby.
We have some good stuff.
Yeah.
Good
David
stuff.
Giles still here. He's got some good stuff.
Yes, David Giles on there. The Red Room. They have a lot of stuff on the Emporium. So yeah.
Our man had to look up Stone Skin. It's in that new version too, second edition. He said the new version of D&D. Good, baby.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's the watered down version. No, Stone Skin came out in second edition.
I thought it was in first, but I don't remember.
I can't remember. Oh, it might have been Unearthed Arcana.
I feel like in one of the editions it sucked and the other one was better. So
because I know Stone Skin's not in the player's handbook for first edition.
I think it's
Unearthed Arcana. Yeah,
that sounds right.
If it's first.
If it's there. I know it's in second.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, dude.
Well, if anything else if you don't have anything else.
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to set something up here so I don't get distracted. I'm wanting this to be a smooth transition out. Where are we at? There we are. All right. Just making sure I have everything where I can see it. All right.
Thanks, DM James. It was a sweet little kiss. Gotta like that.
Oh. No homo.
Oh, come on, Joe. It's not Cabin Con yet.
No, it's not Cabin Con.
You don't have to be like that, though. Do you have to be like that?
Yes, I do. If you would like to support our show, please like, subscribe, and share us where you are listening or viewing the show. We are out there on the socials everywhere, even Twitter, even though they try to stop my signal.
You can't stop the Joseph.
So we are out there on the socials, Facebook and Twitter and MeWe. I think that's Max's favorite social media platform.
MeWe?
So if you'd like to provide us with material support, you can head on over to PayPal, paypal.me/biggestgeekus. You could reward us on Streamlabs with a tip, streamlabs.com/biggestgeekus1/tip. We are still on Anchor for now, so you can head on over to anchor.fm/biggestgeekus and throw us some support there. If not, that's cool. Do all the sharing and subscribing and getting your friends to get their eyeballs on us. That's fine. Or you can contribute some of your role-playing game works over at Big Geek Emporium, or you can head over there and buy something. All of that is good.
All available to you.
So there's that. Big Geek Emporium is one of our websites. biggestgeekuspodcast.com is another one that has fallen into a bit of disuse, but it's still there. Mm-hmm. And our email, if you want to send us any questions or comments, suggestions, the aforementioned suggestion about some old school modules or adventures that have a nostalgic feel to them, and a unique experience, not unlike Lost Caverns of Sojanth and the ones we were mentioning earlier in the show. And you can send those over to the geeks at biggestgeekuspodcast.com. Cool. So, you have anything else to say, Mr. Randy?
No. What's our subscriber count? When's our next big giveaway? I got stuff I need to get rid of. Should I make something up?
Yeah, just make something up. I was trying to get us to 500, but we got 290 to go. If the folks out there want to help us get to there, they can, force, hypnotize, kidnap, do all the things that. No, don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Just be friendly to your friends and get them to watch us.
Yeah,
get us up to 500. We're going to try to do good job here on the show, and hopefully we can drive our numbers up. But
thanks, guys. It was great tonight.
500 is a long way off, so you're going to have to just do the giveaway. Some excuse. Bring up your own excuse.
Don't you want my stuff? Come watch and subscribe.
It's the Randy wants to give his stuff giveaway.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nada, bro.
All right. This is Joe.
And I'm Randy.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us.